wish I understood how to do the royalties thing with music and everything, because this would be a perfect time to play Phil Collins's "In the Air," wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know why you don't just go into that, hey, I have a ratty beard commercial right away, and then we can just start talking.
I don't know, because I feel like because there's a break, like it's not clean. You know what I mean? Because it's video, it's not clean. So I always like to come in and say something first, and then play the video. Like I'm going to.
All right, no problem, Spielberg. I'm just throwing in my 2 cents.
We're all about high production quality here at the Same Old Arsenal USA.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Yeah, so how's it? Welcome to, I guess this could be considered the season premiere of the Same Old Arsenal USA, because the season kicks off on Friday, and I had the exact time frame in my head. I don't know, but we're less than 3 days away now. By this time Friday night, everyone, we're either going to be in a pretty good mood or we're going to be in a pretty shit mood. Yeah, so this is it. We're going to get into it. We got a lot to get to tonight, fellas. Preview the season, preview Brentford, talk about transfers. Oh, by the way, the one thing that our Arsenal are really good at, apparently, is putting out new kits. So if they could just do a new kit every week, and if we could get judged on it or put up a poll about whose kit is better, I mean, we'd have the second invincible season in Premier League history, but sadly it doesn't work that way. So let's go around the horn. Ryan, how are you? Good to see you again.
You gotta stop making this a habit. I'm good. I'm surprised I didn't bring it up on our other show. I'm excited for our third kit. I think it is dope. I think it's probably our best looking kit. If I couldn't tell you the last kit where I wasn't, so I know it looks like people say it looks like a television screen, like when it's when it's not working. I'm too young for this. What is it when a television stops working? It has the zzz, the
I don't know.
I don't know. I love it.
Are you going to spend 7 minutes talking about the third kit now?
I should. I honestly, I should, because I like it so much.
You made me snort.
And first of all, I'm excited, Tanner, because you told me you were going to tell me who you were going to get in your third kit, which you have to tell me. And I know I said this on multiple shows. I wanted to get Elneny, but I don't know. There's so many choices. I'm slowly, I feel like, falling for Lokonga. It's strange. It took me on a couple hot dates, and I'm ready to commit. But yeah, I'm excited for the new kit. I'm excited for the new season. I'm excited to talk to you, lovely gents.
All right, so that didn't take too long, Glenn. How are you?
I'm fine. I don't give two craps about the kits. They're not getting a dime from me until they spend some money in the transfer market. But otherwise, I'm fine.
Good. Stan, good to see you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm good. We've all moved in now into our new place, and I just want to give a little shout out to my mum. And my mum does watch these on playbacks, and hopefully when you're watching this, mum, you're feeling better and you're out of hospital and everything's well. So just a little shout out to my mum there in Cyprus.
Hi, Mama Stan.
Mama Stan, get better soon. Please, please, please. We're all thinking about you here.
I'll try to keep it PG-13. I promise. I'll try.
Yeah. Yes.
She's used to it now, Ryan.
Yeah. A year in. I mean, she knows what to expect at this point. Just so there's no confusion with anyone in the chat, this is not a do-rag. It's a hat. I'm wearing it backwards.
Wait, I have to. Okay.
I'm wearing
it backwards. That when I saw you earlier, I was thinking, we've gone all hood.
Yeah. See, Stan, I don't know if I'm allowed to comment on that or not. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you can't.
I don't know. Like, am I going to get canceled if I make a comment on it or what? But,
Probably.
Haven't been canceled yet. So,
Yeah.
Stan, what do you think? Glenn says he doesn't care. Ryan says he loves it. What do you think of the third kit? Let's just get this out of the way with now.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know,
I like it. I like it.
I like the color. I like the blue. It's not bad at all. You know.
Will you be purchasing one?
Um,
Will you be purchasing any?
I quite like that. I quite like that the home one, but there's nothing that's really jumping out at me. I think if I was going to buy one this season, it would either be the blue one or the red one. I think, but you know, who knows what we know. By the time my birthday rolls around, I'm maybe, you know, there'll be one wrapped up for my birthday from a relative or something like that. You never know.
Nice, yeah. I got to tell you, so this is the whoa. So there you go. Away kit, and I got to tell you, it's pretty nice. It's a good fit. It fits well. It feels good. It breathes, but it's a pretty nice shirt. Like compared to last year's shirt, I thought it was real like light and flimsy, and this is definitely not that. So it's a good shirt. I like what they've done this year, quite frankly, with all three. I have.
My only thing with that yellow one is I wish the cannon was turned the other way.
Yeah.
The one small thing.
Yep. That's old school when it's facing right, not left. So, but you know, so be it. We're in apparently a new era of Arsenal football. So, Stan, you want to shout out the chat for me? We got a good crowd tonight. I feel like.
I feel like once he posted, you're like, "Up, Stan, call him out."
MFB's in there. BX Gunner 81. Welcome. You're not Sentiment FC, Hate KSC, Pippi SCN. That's a long one, that, isn't it? London Lone Star obviously is with us every week. Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining us. Football with Brownie or Crypto with John Craven, whatever you want to call him, is in the house. And also Arsenal Maniac is in there. And Mike Mosley and one of my favourite handles, Inti Anan.
That's the one that did it right there. As soon as I saw that one pop up, I had to let you shout out the chat. So, I don't know, fellas, where do you want to start? You want to start with the lack of transfer movement? You want to start with, I guess, we'll start with a season preview, I guess. We kind of touched on this last week. You know, how are you feeling going into the season? Are you just excited to watch the Arsenal again? Because for me, you know, the expectations right now are just zip. I'm not expecting to finish in a European position. I don't expect to win a trophy. So I think not having any expectations for me is going to make it a little easier to watch. You know, I'm not going to be as invested. You know what I mean? So, Stan, what do you? We've got less than 3 days now. What's kind of the emotion right now?
I think it's obvious that looking what Arsenal were trying to do in their planning, I get the feeling that everything that they were planning to do this summer was all based around what they thought they were going to be bringing in through sales. And this problem is that, and you're seeing it on a larger scale with Lionel Messi, and that's that players are now pricing themselves out of the market. You know, you look at someone like Said Kolasinac. It's obvious that he doesn't want to be at the club. It's obvious that the club doesn't have him in our plans. But now he's talking to the club about buying him out and getting 5 million. Otherwise, he'll be quite happy to stay. That's kind of where we are now. You know, these players we've priced them out of the market with the salaries that we're giving them. You know, look at Mesut Ozil. He may have left the club, but I believe that we're still paying maybe 80 to 90% of his wages. He may not be here, but that's still coming out of the Arsenal pocket. And you're seeing it now on a larger scale with what's happened with Messi, right? He's basically just priced himself out of the market where, you know, he's leaving as a free agent. He could say, okay, I can't play for Barcelona anymore, but I could actually turn around and say, you know what? I could pick a club. I could pick Man United. I could pick Man City. I could pick Bayern Munich. I could pick another club in Spain, and I just turn around and say, I'll only want to get paid 150 grand a week. But he hasn't done that, right? He's gone to PSG because PSG, you know, it's like the full whack again, right? It's.
Well, they line UEFA's coffers, don't they?
Yeah. We've priced these players out, and now we've spent the big money on somebody like a Ben White, who I think, you know, maybe he'll come good. I don't know much about him. We've spent 20 on Lokonga, and it looks like that there isn't any more money left because we ain't selling anybody. And I still think that if we'd not made a decision on Xhaka until the window closed, you never know, that could have been more money. But I still think that, again, by selling Xhaka, the club would have been forced into doing something. And I don't want to be forced into doing anything. They'd rather have the convenience. It really comes across to me that it's about convenience sometimes of what they make their decisions. And I've never been this nervous going into a season. I can't remember when I felt this down about going into a season. There's nothing that excites me about going into this season. And don't get me wrong, you know, somebody like a Ben White or a Lokonga, they're probably good lads and that, but it's not enough for me to see progress. And my biggest worry going into this season is our captain. I'm really worried about what's going on with him. Really extremely worried. And there's, you know, we're going to be doing these prediction things. Here's one of mine. I just don't think that he's going to get 20 goals this season. No way. Can't see him getting 20 goals this season. And yet, we've put and we can't shift him because, again, we've priced him out of the market. Who's going to pay him the equivalent salary that he's on now? No matter how, even if we let him go on a free, he'd be lucky to get the salary that he's on. And Arsenal can't let him go for free. So we're snookered, right? I'm really worried about how we're supposed to be doing this rebuild at the minute. And then you add on top of that, we've got a manager that does seem to be having problems with shaping the team in his image because it's 18 months in now and there is still no kind of identity that I can really see. So I'm worried.
Okay, I'm not excited. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I'm just going to finish off. I'm just kind of like, I can't believe the season is starting this Friday. It feels like we're not ready yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it on whatever show we did yesterday. I don't even remember that. I wish the transfer season ended before the regular season starts, but whatever. Back to Kolasinac. What the hell? He wants money to leave. He's 28 years old. You stupid F, get the hell out of here. You want to stay if we don't give you $5 million? All right, put him behind a concession stand at the Emirates. That's where he'll be for the whole friggin' season. I'm with Stan. I'm not excited about it. I will watch every game, of course, partly because my family knows for that 2 hours, don't come downstairs. But otherwise, I'm not excited. I will watch every game, but I think a lot of people, like Ryan, are setting themselves up for a huge letdown because the team as is right now, I don't see any better than 8th place.
So, Ryan?
So I said I don't remember if I said this to you, Glenn, on Bearded Cannons. Before I do want to get my beer of the week out. It's pretty. I love Penguin. Well, actually, you know what? They're fucking toucans. Whatever. It's Puffin Pass. It's pretty cute by She and Brewing Company in Walcott. And the reason why I Puffin Pass because Puff Pass. I'm just waiting for that season to start. Just pass the. Can you say doobie, Glenn? Is that what they say? Kids these days say doobie.
Doobie's what we said in the 80s.
I know, I was kidding. Yeah, so whatever. But see, it's funny because I don't think I'm necessarily set up to be upset. I had Stan's exact mentality and feelings towards the season last season. I was so down. I was like, our best signings, like Willian, like what's happening? Like we're not going to be good, and I was just not happy. I was not happy with what's going on. You know, I was down on the season, but you know what? I love the game. I love Arsenal. I'm gonna watch, obviously. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Mike. I'm sure you do. But I mean, this season, I think I have a little more hope only because of certain individuals. As a whole, as a club, I don't want to say we're gonna get top 4 and we're gonna show them, but I'm more looking toward like the individualistic side of things. I'm looking more towards the ESRs, Sakas, even Pepe, who I think kind of was really putting it on at the end of the season last season. Lukunga, I think he's gonna play a big part of our season, probably because of injuries, not because we want him to, but I think he kind of needs to. But I think he's had, again, preseasons don't mean much, but I think he's had a really good preseason. I'm excited for what I see. You know, being the club captain of Anderlecht at 21 is nothing to scoff about. They're one of the biggest clubs in Belgium. So, I mean, you could argue how big the Belgian soccer league is, or football league is, but I think that's quite the achievement at 21 years of age. And, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited for certain players. But as a team, as getting 3 points, as seeing Arsenal on the standings, I'm probably with Stan and Glenn on this one, and it's upsetting. And I guess going back to my puff and pass, I'm passing to you guys because I'm waiting for this transfer window to end, because I do think that we are going to sign somebody for more money than Ben White, and I do think we are going to get rid of. I guess that's kind of one of my bold statements, maybe. I don't know. But I also think that we are going to get rid of some of this dead wood that we can't get rid of. Not all of it, but I think there will be some players being sold the last week of the transfer window from Arsenal.
Can I just add one thing to that? I saw that Ramsdale wasn't even on the bench for their game the other day. If we spend that Joe Willock money on Ramsdale,
because it's not cup tied.
Oh.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it could directly be because of us.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, if the reason is because he's coming to Arsenal, we better not be spending all that Joe Willock money on him. That's all I'm saying. And the other thing I want to say is, I predicted this on whatever show we did yesterday, that I think we're going to get Aouar and Odegaard. I really believe that now. And if that happens, I can see us contending for top 6.
It's like, I look at, you know, I'm like a lot of people. I read what's going on, all the snippets and that. You know, it's like I read one thing, and it's the top of Mikel Arteta's list. You know, is Martin Odegaard. That's his number 1 priority. And then I click on something else, and then it's Mikel Arteta's number 1 priority is James Maddison. You know, and then you read another thing, and it's like Arsenal have put a bid in that Juventus are really happy with for Lautaro Martinez, and then you read another one, and it's like they've not put a bid in, but they've done personal terms with the player, which are quite sizable. And I'm just like, I just don't know what it's all just a load of mishmash now, you know. And I don't know what to believe anymore, you know, because the next click, it just contradicts the previous story. So I'm still gonna, you know, it's not. When does the actual window shut? What's the date?
August 31st.
Sorry, August
31st.
Okay, so there's, you know, I'm disappointed where we are up to now. My biggest disappointment is that we haven't been able to move certain players on, and I just don't think it's healthy having a group of players around the place that are in that Kolasinac area where they know they're not wanted. There's an issue about money. They're talking to the club about being bought out. The club's dragging their heels. There's that dragging around. Yet they've got to come into training every day, and they're mixing with other players that we want to see succeed and come good. I don't like that kind of a mixture. And I'm also worried that we're going to expect too much from Saka and ESR and maybe even Martinelli this season, and we just end up playing the shit out of them, which will result in an injury, or it will result in a player burning out maybe and having a bad run of form. And then with the crowds back in the stadium, they get a bit of grief. You know, I'm worried that there's not going to be enough people to lighten the load for a Saka or an ESR or even a Martinelli.
God bless you, Mike Hertz, who predicted the top 4 run. I just saw that in the comments. God bless you, man. I love that you're so positive, but I think you're setting yourself up for a letdown, my man. Real quick, addressing a couple things that Sam said. Kolasinac, I said it before, he's 28 years old. He's a friggin' idiot if he is demanding money or he's going to stay here.
Glenn, let me interrupt you real quick. He's not demanding money. That's what's left on his contract. So this isn't, he wants $5 million. So that's what he's owed. He has a contract. If they want to terminate the contract, they have to pay it off. and that's what he's owed. So if you want him to leave, if you want him gone, it's the same thing with Mesut Ozil. Not to bring up that name again, but it was the same thing there. It was just that's just the way the world, the business works over there. If you want them gone, I mean, it's no different over here. You want to buy somebody out. You hear the NFL, they cut players all the time, and their contracts are not guaranteed, but over there, I believe they are.
Okay, so, I stand corrected. Just one other thing.
He's basically inviting the club to say, you don't have to come to work anymore. We got no plans for you. And by the way, here's all the money that you would have earned up until your contract.
I just wanted to comment on one other thing that the Silhouette of Stan said, which is you were talking about what's his name? I'm sorry, I made myself laugh.
Keep smoking those doobies, Glenn. Come on.
I haven't done that for 2 hours, but I am on the last hour of my 5-hour energy. Stan, Madison, as far as that goes, 2 days ago, Brendan Rodgers said, nobody's even told me that Arsenal's made an offer. They would tell me if someone made an offer for him. Right. So I don't believe any of that crap.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta's the same thing about Willock. Willock's my player. I have big
Arteta's a shyster. Stan had the best description of him.
You can't give Arteta crap and then not give Brendan Rodgers the same crap. And again, who knows? Madison could be staying, so it might be null and void. But managers are supposed to give a song and dance. You got to be like, oh, he's my player. You can't say anything until the contract's signed. I'm sure with Xhaka, he probably had 1 foot in Rome. And it was like, well, you can't. I mean, that's
just it. The player can say what he wants because it's not considered tampering. But the manager of the club,
he can't say anything.
Either buying or say they can't say anything. If you can't throw your player under the bus, we want to sell Kolasinac. That's not a secret. But Arteta can't come out and say, yes, we're actively trying to sell him, because the first thing it does is it wrecks his ability to come in and actually. I mean, he is a professional footballer, so it wrecks his ability to be able to come in and train with the team the way that he should. But the second thing it does, and Ryan just did it, it tanks his value. You come out and say, we want to get rid of this guy, and then somebody's going to come in and be like, I'll give you a bag of balls for him. Meanwhile,
Messi leaves on a free freaking transfer to PSG. I'm sorry. I'm just sick of it.
I want to talk about that real quick. Is football dead, man? I mean, look at the team that PSG have assembled and the money that they've spent. Now they got Donnarumma on a free. They got Messi on a free. All right. I don't know what Donnarumma's wages are. Messi's wages are rumored to be significantly lower than what they were at Barcelona. I mean, he milked that club dry. They're literally at a point right now where they want.
I think it's something like 40 million a year. So at Barcelona, it was over 100 a year. Plus, there were these really high. There was a loyalty bonus, and so another bonus, which was really a signing on bonus, which was I think was 91 million when you sign a contract. Signing on fee.
I mean, they may as well just give him the team. They may as well just be like, you know what? Here's Barcelona players. Here's Football Club de Barcelona. Sorry, Mikey. I know that was really bad.
I saw a tweet the other day that said if Pochettino doesn't win everything with that team, he should not be allowed to manage anywhere ever again.
I mean,
I have respect for PSG. They were one of the clubs that were not in for that Super League shit. So I have some respect for them.
They would have been. I mean, if it would have gone through, they would have. They were what were there? There were 5. No, how many were 12? There were 12 originally. PSG was going to be one of the next 5, or one of the next 3 rather, to make that 15 that was going to be there all the time. They were going to be there, and they're the same thing as City. They're run as Glenn so eloquently calls it. They're run by an oil country. They're owned by an oil country. Is this ruining football? Seeing Messi go.
I think it's just a down period because of the whole COVID thing. Once things get back to normal or semi-normal, and they're all raking in the cash from us supporters, that just love football, I think things will go back to normal. Tommy Abraham, what did he go for? 50 million is what he's. I mean, the prices are just so It's
weird.
weird.
I didn't. Tammy Abraham.
All right.
They agreed. They agreed. Chelsea and Rome agreed 34 million, but Tammy's telling them to give him a few days because I think he's trying to come to Arsenal. That's what I keep reading in multiple places because he wants to stay in London.
And 40 million might have been American money. 40.
Yeah, Glenn, I think it is.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say 40 million might have been American dollars, not the solid. That
Stan, you were saying something, and I'm sorry I missed it. What?
I was just saying, Tommy says he wants a couple of days because he's waiting for Arsenal. He should know by now that we don't do things in a couple of days. You know what I mean? That's not how we work, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like we'll go to a player, we'll work out personal terms with them, but then we won't put a bid into the club. And there's a part of me that thinks that. There's a part of me that has my conspiracy theory head, and that's almost like you won't put a bid in because you don't want to get your fucking bluff called if the club turns around and says, okay, we'll accept that bid. And then they're like, what? We didn't. Oh, okay, we're buying that player now. You know, what's the point in fucking working out personal terms of a player and then not putting a bid in?
I mean, isn't it it's kind of like playing FIFA. You put a bid in just to see if you'll get it accepted, but you don't really want to go through with it. So you agree to personal terms with the player just to see if it's like,
I also think
gauging his interest. Will you really come here? Here's what we'll offer you. Like, will you really come here? And he's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd love to come here. And he's like, gotcha. Just kidding. We're not interested. So
I have a weird theory. I think it's an interesting circumstance because it's Jose Mourinho. I think he hates Arsenal. So I think he undercut us with Xhaka. He's trying to take Tammy Abraham from us. Not saying we're in for him, but there's links to him. And he's a former player. Yeah, he used to coach Tammy Abraham. So I think that there's a lot of hoopla going around, and I think that Jose is at the center of it. And I think he's just kind of testing Arsenal a little bit and trying to poke the bear. Although we're not really a bear. We're more like a cub that sat in the XL bed and, I don't know, like Goldilocks story. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know because I think Jose's got an ego on him, and he's gonna throw his weight around, and we're really not in a position to really like, all right, cool, you want to do that? I mean, Roma's not either. Roma's not in a position to really throw money at certain players. I do think Tammy Abraham greatly improves them, but yeah, it's upsetting that they couldn't put more money toward Xhaka. But again, I think it's because of Jose Mourinho. Had any other manager been there, I think Xhaka would be in Rome right now as we speak.
I wanted to just I saw the Ramsdale comment here, and I need to get this out there. Sheffield United, he didn't play because they didn't want him to be cup tied.
In case they did something, yeah.
But they played Carlisle United. Sheffield United did, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Carlisle United, little plucky League 2 side, way up north. But anyway, I just needed to get that out.
And the one thing I do want to say, because we're done, hopefully we're done with this messy PSG talk. The best thing to come of that was I got to see Mustafi photoshopped on a PSG
Oh my
kid.
God,
that made my day. I'm excited about that. Hopefully, Hopefully, Messi Mustafi. I don't know how you can combine those, but hopefully Messi can recruit Mustafi. Mustafi. Hopefully, Mustafi can get recruited to PSG and be in a shirt too. That would make the ultimate FIFA team. That's for sure.
Yeah. The Messi thing, it just, like I said, for me, it's like this is like the Yankees of the mid-90s. And yeah, that might upset you a little bit for me to say that. I think you're a Yankees fan. But,
Yankees suck.
It just
back there.
Let's go Mets.
But that's what this is. And when you think about it, everybody said the only two teams in the world that could really legitimately afford him are Manchester City and Paris. Do the other clubs, and I'm going to include Arsenal in this. Hell, I'm not even going to call them the scum. I'll call them Tottenham Hotspur right now for the sake of this.
You finally did it. You said you would never do it on the show.
I know.
Ring the bell, everybody. He did it.
I got through the first season, so that counts.
I guess.
But some of these, put Aston Villa in that category. You could put West Ham in this category. Everton. Can you not band together and go to UEFA somehow, some way, and say, you guys, you've got to put in place, because financial fair play, let's face it, those are just three words that they picked out of the air, put them together. Go Nobody knows what financial fair play is. It's like macroeconomics. Nobody understands macroeconomics. Nobody understands financial fair play. Nobody knows what it is. The people that came up with it at UEFA don't know what it is. You'd go up to them and be like, hey, you created financial fair play, right? Yeah. Explain it to me. Hot dogs. Squirrel. That's what it would be. That would be their answer. They need, there's got to be some sort of a salary cap. Somehow, some way, we've got to figure out how to reel in this spending because otherwise it's just, you may as well just let Manchester City and PSG just go play each other. Just, you know what? Travel the world, play each other in different venues all over the place. Play a game in the Arctic fucking Circle for all I care. But, you know, travel the world and you two just play each other all the time. You're the two biggest teams. You're the two best teams. You're the two most expensive teams or richest teams, whatever you want to say. And yeah,
does FFP even exist anymore after Manchester City sicked the best lawyers in the world on them? While you were talking, I put in FFP on Google and I got fresh frozen plasma. So I don't think it even exists anymore. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking.
I feel like Glenn's on the black market all of a sudden. Fresh frozen plasma?
No, I'm just saying, while you were talking, you know, I'm thinking, yeah, Manchester City pretty much killed FFP. Let me see, you know, someone explain it to me. So I put in FFP on my stupid phone and it came up fresh frozen plasma. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter. All right.
And that's a problem.
Manchester City gets away with it. Everyone else is going to get away with it. I can't give rules to one of my kids, but not to the other. It's no.
If everybody, but they have to level the playing field. Somehow, the playing field has to be leveled here somehow, right? I mean that's what the salary caps in American sports exist to do: level the playing field. And I'm not crying poor. I mean, the Cronkies are filthy fucking rich. They have the money. They could spend what Manchester City and PSG spend. They just don't, you know. But I think at this rate, you're just going to see all of the best players are going to go to one of two, maybe three team, Chelsea. So every year, every transfer window, you look at, well, who are the best players that could possibly go for transfer? You're like, okay, well, there's no drama here. We know where they're going to go, right? So I don't know. I just,
sounds like the NBA in America.
Nah, kind of. Stan, I don't know. You got anything to add to this, or am I just kind of?
I mean,
off my own here?
Not really. I mean, you know, it's crazy money. It's crazy money, right? It's easy for us to kind of sit there and say, well, you know, you could go anywhere and take less money. But I mean, maybe if you was in that situation and someone was willing to pay that money for your services. I mean, I think when he's at Barcelona, I think he was either getting paid or the new contract meant he was going to get $1 million a week, 1 million a week. I mean, look, it sounds crazy, man, but.
Look, you know, I don't know how to solve the problem. I'm not a math scientist, but I can tell you that I know Forbes listed Kroenke as the third richest Premier League owner. They did the most wealthy sports owners in the world, and he's third in the Premier League. And he doesn't invest into his own team, what he calls one of his crown jewels. You know, that just adds to my frustration. You know, and I don't understand why guys like Mike and Ryan can be so freaking up about our chances this season.
What have I said that makes me?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I said that by reflex. You did correct yourself. I apologize. I take that back. Right. Mike hurts.
So yeah, we do actually kick off the season on Friday, and we do it at the new Brentford Community Stadium against a newly promoted Brentford. They were the final team to earn promotion through the championship playoff. And Stan, I'm going to start with you. Forget the season as a whole. How are you feeling going into just this match against Brentford?
I'm nervous. I don't care if it was Brentford or Man City. I'm nervous about our next football match.
And you should be.
I'm just going by what I saw in the pre-season. And I know that pre-season are friendlies, but it wasn't even like, you know, we were winning games 4-2 or losing a game, you know, like 3-2. There was nothing. I mean, Aubameyang didn't score in the pre-season. There's nothing that Do you know what I'm getting at? There was nothing that I saw that I think I can see that we're going to be taking in to the first game of the season. And, you know, the crowd is going to be back in the – there's going to be fans now. Fans are going to be in stadiums. And it's going to be very telling if – I mean, I hate it when Arsenal lose, but for me, if you're going to lose, it's about the manner of the loss. So, you know, if we're going to lose – to a newly promoted team, again, it's going to be the manner of the loss, right? If I'm seeing like players just walking around and, you know, leaving big gaps and these, you know, the personal errors that, you know, the individual errors that we've seen so many times causing, you know, a penalty and a red card and all this sort of stuff, then there's no progress. There is no progress. So I can't believe that I'm nervous going into a game against a newly promoted team. I am.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
As I said at the beginning, it doesn't matter who it would have been, who our first opponent is. I'm incredibly nervous because I'm worried about how we're playing football at the moment.
Yeah, because it's for me, it's the same as last year. You know, we could win or lose to or draw to anybody, and you know, I can tell you right now, I think we're going to beat Brentford, and I think half of the Arsenal fan base on social media will be cheering like we're going to make a top 4 run. You know, based on that. So.
Yeah, Ryan, what
no, I just, again, talked to us earlier. I think it's just interesting because playing Brentford is kind of the same way we started last season, playing Fulham. Both teams that won their championship playoff to the last team put in. So, you know, technically they're technically, you know, bottom dwellers coming in, but you know, I don't think I'm definitely not nervous because of the way we played. I'm nervous because I don't know who Arteta is going to choose. I don't know who his 11 is. His 11 has more times than not left me head scratching. And, you know, still playing against a Brentford team, I know I'm always guilty of saying this. Most 11s that we put out on Friday should beat Brentford. But again, you don't know what you're going to get with this club. You don't know what you're going to get with this team. I do think we're going to win. You know, I think we're gonna show flashes of what we can do and the potential we do have. But it's Brentford, and we need to, you know, taper our expectations a little bit and kind of just see. At least, again, this is just how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it very individualistic, and I'm looking at the players, certain players like Saka, ESR, even Pepe, just the growth that they've done. Because it's a long season, and with no European football, we're going to see these players more times than not.
So you're feeling good about
BG Brownie has a question for you because you've been over the pond a few times.
No, he asked Stan. He says, Stan, have you ever been?
Oh, Stan. I'm sorry.
Man can't even read. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up. Are we
when
even now?
Back in, he can answer that. But
I'm sorry, BG. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm just gonna. So Ryan, you're feeling pretty good about facing Brentford, or you're.
I guess good in the fact that I saw enough positives individualistically. Is that a word?
Individually.
Probably. There you go.
Calls me high.
Well, yeah. I mean, but puff and pass. That's what I'm doing. I think we have enough talent to get some excitement. I'm not saying I don't expect Stan to be jumping out of his seat. I don't expect Glenn to be taking his shirt off, waving around his head like he's at Mardi Gras. I don't think that, but I do think there's going to be some interesting things that we're going to see that'll be like, okay, okay. Like this is something. This is something we could build on. And I know people don't want to hear the word rebuild, but let's face it, we're not splashing $100 million for Grealish. We're not splashing $115 for Lukaku. So it's got to be a rebuild. We have no choice. And I think that there's going to be some positives that are going to come in this Brentford game. That's for sure. We're not going to win the league.
Ryan, when you say we have no choice, you are referring to Kroenke not investing his own money into the team, right? Because, I mean, that is a choice, but it's not going to happen.
Or, yes, or at least not enough to where we could spend $100 million on Jack Grealish or, again, a $115 on Lukaku. Yeah, not that kind of money.
Stan, Brownie has a question for you. Have you ever been to Brentford?
Not to the stadium, not for a game or anything. I've been to the area. I've been past the stadium, but I've never been to a match there. No.
Okay. Mikey had a question for us. I'll bring. Oh my, excuse me. I'll bring this in real quick. Go ahead, Glenn.
It's just so frustrating that Chelsea would have taken 3 days to get Lukaku, and it's just so frustrating to me. And I try to not be like a total dick about it because I know there's a lot of fans just looking forward to the season. They don't want to hear all this negative talk. But believe me, I've never been more down about an Arsenal season that I can even remember. My expectations are so low. I wonder what it's like at Manchester City and PSG, where you have to win everything or the season's a failure. I'm so frustrated.
So Mikey wants to know, do we think Bukayo Saka will start?
I hope so. I want Abba on the bench.
I would say yes, and Aubameyang does not start. Stan, what do you say?
Yeah, I think he'll try to put out what he thinks maybe his best team is, and maybe there's even an argument that he shouldn't be starting the game, right? I don't know. I mean, they're the ones that are going to be assessing him in training to see whether he's had enough rest or not. So, in actual fact, depending on where he's going to start, I definitely think that left-hand side is going to be starting with Aubameyang. So it will depend on whether he has Pepe on the right or whether he starts Saka on the right. So I'll answer it this way. I think that the left-hand side slot is definitely going to be starting with Aubameyang there, with Lacazette playing as our number 9.
Yeah, I'm with DJ Ash. Saka is going to start. Is Arteta? I know what you said, BG, is true. He goes by how they are in training, but I'd rather have Aubameyang coming off the bench, and I'll be very disappointed if Saka doesn't start.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree with Glenn, but what did he get? Only 30 minutes against Tottenham, so I don't know. I could definitely see. I could see him not starting. I could see Aubameyang on the left, Pepe on the right. Starting Saka against Brentford. I agree. We shouldn't take any opponents lightly, and I don't take Brentford lightly. I just feel like if, God forbid, Saka gets hurt in any kind of way against Brentford in our first game of the season, it's gonna be shades of Partey against Scum all over again. And I don't know if he wants to take that risk because of this. And I think it's starting to set in with him. I think he's starting to realize the kind of situation he's in. Whether the board's backing him or not is kind of not really the issue. It's the market and the fact that there was players that I'm sure he wanted to have sold already that haven't been sold. So I think he's choosing less risk. So I can totally see Saka on the bench. I mean, obviously, I want Saka and Pepe in the wings, 110%. I couldn't agree with you more, Mike. But I would be captain on that.
Ask a question.
That would erase some of my. 1 sec, Stan. That would erase some of my negativity if it was Pepe, Lacazette, and Saka, and Tierney wearing the captain's armband. That would make me feel a little bit better.
Oh, I would get Chubb. I would. If Tierney's wearing the armband first game of the season, that's making a fucking statement. But you risk upsetting the dressing room doing that. Like Aubameyang you're not gonna get Aubameyang back if you do something like that. But yeah, that takes balls. But.
You're talking about what's changed in the game, BG, and then Stan, I ask you a question. They're not upsetting your players in the dressing room. Oh, you millionaires! I'm sorry, did I upset you by giving the captaincy to the best left back in the Premier League? Okay, whatever.
Stan, go ahead. What's your question?
I would say that if they roll out onto that first starting lineup and Tierney's wearing the captain's armband, I think that would probably make me have a little small sex fizz. I think that.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that the UK equivalent of what Ryan just said?
Like, look, you see this? My nip's a little hard just by talking about it.
I didn't. I'm not looking. My eyes are closed.
The question I wanted to ask everybody, chat box as well, is and now that we've gone into the realms of talking about starting lineups, and considering if we're going to go with a formation with a 2 in the midfield as the deep 2, and Obviously, now that Thomas Partey's not going to be playing, you're going to think that definitely one of those spots is going to be taken up by Xhaka. What does Mikel Arteta do as manager? Does he start with El Neni, because El Neni's been around for a while, he's keeping him around, and you have Lokonga on the bench, or do you start with El Neni on the bench, which you kind of then saying, like, I know you've been around in El Neni, but I even believe that this 18-year-old kid from Anderlecht, from Belgium, is better than you. So I'm going to start with him. But then if I need you, I might come back to you a little bit later on. So it doesn't matter who you think is the better player or the better prospect or whatever. As a manager, what do you do in that situation? Do you overlook El Neni and start with Lokonga? Because if it backfires with Lokonga and he puts a misstep or something happens, and then you have to go back to El Neni, you know what I mean? You're kind of got your tail between your legs a little bit, Or do you start with El Neni and you let Lokonga watch from the bench, bed in? I mean, what would you do?
Well, you know what, Stan? You see a little bit more in El Neni, and Ryan too, than a lot of Arsenal fans do. Would you? Jacques is definitely going to start with Partey injured. So, would Stan? Do you think El Neni would be a wise choice to start over the 18-year-old?
I think for this match, it's a team that's just come up as well. It's away from home. There's going to be crowds as well. It's not going to be like an empty stadium. Mm-hmm. I think that I would start with El Neni. Give him. I think someone like El Neni, he needs to be shown like a little bit of confidence, because I know a lot of people want him gone. I'm perfectly happy for him to stay around as what I would call a utility player, because he's not the sort of guy that's going to kick up and by going knocking on the manager's door every week and saying, "You've not picked me in a month. I've not even come on as a sub." But when he does get his chance, I think he tries his best, and I think he's a hard worker. I like El Neni, as you know, but I would start with him, because if it doesn't work out, you don't have to pick him for the next match, but show a little bit of faith rather than just like, anyone that comes into the club, as long as they can walk upright and breathe oxygen, start them ahead of El Neni because you're fucking shit. That's bad management. Do you know what I mean? You've got to show something, right?
No, I agree with you. I would rather have El Neni's experience in there for game one with Xhaka, because, our hands are tied. So, yeah, I actually agree with you on that.
I'm confused. Why can't we just start Lokonga and El Neni? You said Xhaka is who? Can I go door number 3? Pat says yes.
Listen, if I thought it was ever in Mikel Arteta's thinking, I would put money on that. I would love to see that as well. I would. No,
I can't. I think to me, you're playing Brentford. You have to take the game to them. You have to score goals. In my opinion, I think you start Xhaka and Lokonga. As much as I love Neni, I don't think he suits this kind of game. I think Lokonga is gonna. If he shows anything that he's shown in preseason, if he could do that on Friday, I think we're in for a treat. I think he offers something a lot different than what El Neni does, and we're going to be in the front foot for most of the game. So for me, El Neni doesn't really make sense for our lineup. And it's crazy. I can't believe he's like this Lokonga guy is winning me over like every day. He's bringing me flowers, chocolates. He's doing the whole shebang, and I think we might see his debut on Friday.
Yeah, I like the question.
It's a good question.
Yeah. It's definitely a good question. I'm starting Lokonga, and I can't believe I'm saying that, considering the drum I've been beating for El Neni. But away
from home with crowds.
What's that?
So it's away from home with crowds. I think,
but we're playing Brentford, and we're going to have possession.
I think if the game goes away from us, I think the crowd are going to make their voices known, and I just think that you can have a plan where you say to yourself, "I'll start with those two. I'm going to start with Xhaka and El Neni, but I'm going to bring Lokonga on at about 55. But I want just to give El Neni a small boost. I don't have to stick with El Neni, but I would like to start with the experience. Let's try and have a bit of, let's settle it a little bit. First game of the season, Last thing you want to do is you put Lokonga in, and he just the whistle goes, and he just goes running up to the fucking first Brentford player and just goes in studs up, just fucking eat them. Do you know what I mean? Just
yeah,
just like
I can see that.
You know what I mean? So let's just I don't want
I'd rather.
a knee-jerk thing. But then again, you look at Gabriel Megalegs, right? He was never meant to play his first game, was he? He was never meant to play that first game. That wasn't the plan. But I think it was. Hey, Rohan. I think it was just because of injuries and being short. We had to play him straight away, and he scored on his debut. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'd rather have El Neni in there than an 18-year-old with his adrenaline and testosterone.
Glad he's 21.
Oh, all right, 20, whatever.
You
I
said
still rather have the experience.
The chat corrected you a million times.
I don't watch the chat because
can we get this kid hooked on phonics real quick? He can't read. He's 21.
I don't put the comments on because I can't do two things at the same time.
Oh, we know, Glenn. We know.
So first, shut up and all right, whatever. Hi, Rohan. How are you? How's life as a lawyer, married guy, and whatever else you got your hands dipped into?
Everything else, saving the world too.
Damn right.
Who's your midfield on Friday, Rohan? Jump right in.
Who's my midfield on Friday? It's got to be Xhaka, isn't it? Xhaka's got to play. Xhaka and Lokonga, that's and then attacking midfield with ESR. That's what I think is going to happen. Saka, I don't know if he's still ready, so I don't know if he's going to start. But Auba on the left, not informed still, so he goes to the bench as soon as Saka's ready. Pepe on the right. I hope he continues his good form from the end of last season. And I think he's done well, pretty okay in the preseason as well, right? So him and Lacazette in the middle. But does it really matter? Are we confident? Are we happy? Do we think there's going to be changes? Because the comments seemed like that's our attacking squad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Rohan? Answer your own question. How do you feel?
I'm not enthused. Still, I come here every time thinking that Ryan is gonna make me somehow positive for the season, but that's all I hope for, because I'm just eternally. I have not been not looking forward to a season this much since I started. Never.
It's so funny. I seriously wish you guys were with me last season because I was exactly in all of your shoes last season. I was I'm not looking forward to this. We're gonna be terrible. And you guys are yeah, this is it.
So what you're saying? Do you feel how you felt that time last season? How you feel now? Do you not feel as bad as last season? And is that
I feel better because we have Lutonga, we have ESR. We have individuals that can excite us. Granted, on the standings, granted, our points, goals for, goals against. Yeah, no, I'm not excited for that. But to see ESR grow, to see soccer grow, and after his horrible end to his Europa League campaign, which I wish on nobody, but I think he's going to be so much stronger. He's going to be so much better, and I'm so excited to see that. That's what I'm anticipating, and that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see a 21-year-old captain from a big club in Belgium come into this team and take it by storm. Granted, we're going to have people weighing us down. There's going to be roadblocks in our way, and I'm not saying we're going to win the league. We're still like a 6th to 8th place team, but I don't think we're done yet. I think we're going to make more signings. I'm excited for them because I think we're going to sign someone for more money than Ben White, and I think we are going to bring in some help in the middle of the field. But again, it's all individual for me. It's all individualistic for me. As a whole, as a club, I don't know. I'm probably where I was last year.
How do you balance it, Ryan? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rohan.
The rumor mill doesn't have me excited, so I don't know what they're gonna turn up with. And this is typical Arsenal, right? By the time the window is shut, we're already 2-3 games into the season, and we're already playing catch up, right? Second game, third game, difficult game, City and Chelsea. And we're already playing catch up after that. So what's the point of write off after write off every season after season, just writing it off, just chasing, just the points totals increasing, and then we take one particular part of the season where we've done better than the rest of the season, which we've absolutely bottled, and somehow that's supposed to give us hope, in this period between week number 17 to game week number 23, we were third in whatever, some shit. Like, nobody cares, man.
Yeah, I don't know how you balance it, Ryan. If we play like last year, but you're like as excited about the kids like a guy in a trench coat at a playground. I don't understand. You got
chubby for the kids, baby.
Where do you balance it? What if we have you still gonna have all this excitement, enthusiasm if Saka scores 15 goals, but we finish 8th again? I don't get it.
No, yeah, I will because I can just yell at Jaka and blame Jaka. It's easy. It's very easy.
Here's the thing,
I
right?
don't think you underestimate me.
Go ahead, Stan.
I think the bigger question, the bigger overarching question of all of this is, it's like, has Mikel Arteta learned enough over the last 18 months to do what he's supposed to be doing with Arsenal? Because last season, I was, coming towards the end of the season, I was definitely in the camp where I felt to myself, there is, any other manager of experience would be able to get more out of this. And I have to use Chelsea as the blueprint for that. And the kind of the backup to my argument here, because Frank Lampard came in, he's a club legend for Chelsea. Was it all-time or third all-time high scorer or whatever it is? They gave him the keys to the fucking transfer market. He spent a lot of money on players, and for whatever reason, they underperformed, right? And again, you could mirror that with Arsenal and saying, well, surely this team should be able to be doing a little bit better than it is. But they were very decisive at Chelsea. They thought, hold on a minute, we can't let the rot set in here. With this team should be able to do better. Lo and behold, they put in an experienced manager. They were in the Champions League. And I think that cannot be, you cannot ignore that. You can't pretend it didn't fucking happen. And I'm just worried that it doesn't matter if you're going to spend 50 million on the centre-back, or whatever you're going to do, or 77 million on the Lautaro Martinez. If you're going to make decisions that when you get to a fucking semi-final, and it's probably one of the biggest games in the club's history to go through to a European final, you're going to take your captain who's on 300 bags a week, sit him on the bench, and then play a false nine with a young kid out of the academy. I don't fucking get that. I'm sorry. That should have been your plan B. If you're telling me that Aubameyang weren't fit, he shouldn't have been on the bench. If he's on the bench, he's fit enough to play. Start him. Start it how you should have been doing it. And then if he's fucking crippled and you've got no one else to bring on, then resort to that. And I just don't think that I'm concerned that Mikel Arteta hasn't progressed enough. And this barking from the sidelines now, I'm concerned that the players now are going to maybe start pretending that they can't hear him.
I try to balance my frustration real quick, BG. I try to balance my frustration with there's 21 days left in the transfer market, and I honestly believe that we're going to get a couple of players. But then I go to what Rohan said, which is 100% true. All of a sudden, we're playing catch up because none of these people are going to come in for at least first 3 or 4 games, 5 games.
Well, if
we're playing catch up.
If I may, the playing catch up just within the season, and I don't like ketchup, by the way. I'm not a ketchup guy. I prefer mustard.
Oh,
yeah, not a ketchup guy. Sorry, it popped into my head. I couldn't resist.
Ketchup and mayonnaise is the best
mayonnaise, man.
Ketchup and mayonnaise.
Anyway, I'm
like
sorry,
it.
I just threw up there. We're going to be, look, let's say that we got the players in that we wanted, but if it's Lautaro Martinez and James Maddison and Andre Onana as the backup goalkeeper and a new right back, I'm not even sure who it would be. You know what, Stan? I'll go with your favorite call and Yusuf Atal, if it would be him. But if we improved everywhere on the pitch that we wanted to improve, let's say we get Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon, to partner with Thomas Partey, or at least for the foreseeable future, it's Granit Xhaka. We're still playing catch up to City and Chelsea, and that's just the fact of it. They still are, even with the improvements we could make. They're still a better team than Arsenal are. We're going to be playing catch up regardless. So it's just I don't know that those signings would make enough of a difference for it to for it to make a difference, especially against City. Chelsea, look, I'll tell you, fans in the stands, okay, for the first time in a while. We've beaten Chelsea 3 games on the trot now. All right, 3 competitive matches on the trot. I'm not saying we will. I'm not saying we're better, but I at least have a hope in that game of it being at home with the fans. If we can get a win at Brentford, there's a good feeling walking into the stadium, and hopefully the fans are behind the team. And nobody expected us to win Boxing Day, right? Nobody expected that win. I don't think anybody expected to win at the Bridge late in the season, and we figured that out. So I got to figure out the scoring. That's the biggest thing. Got to figure out the scoring, because if you don't score, can't win.
You don't think Lukaku makes Chelsea a much better team? BG?
Yes, I do. Yes, I actually do. I think right now, this is not one of my 3 predictions, but I think Lukaku, if he does actually get enough playing time in the Premier League, could win the Golden Boot this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, but I don't know.
He's a stud.
But I don't know when he's going to actually come into the team. I mean, he's still in Monaco right now, so I don't think he's playing this weekend. So who knows?
And how he affects us.
Whose TV do I hear?
If he,
All right, Rohan.
if Lukaku is going to Chelsea, then we're not signing Martinez, right? Simple as.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a done. I mean, we weren't signing Lautaro Martinez regardless. Let's
no, because you counted him in the signings that we could potentially make. Right?
But I don't think we were getting him. But a couple of interesting comments or conversations going on in the chat box. So I'm going to start, Ryan, with you. At what point have you seen enough this season of Mikel Arteta to make a decision that he has to go? At what? Give me a number of matches played.
I don't know.
That if it is bad enough at that point that the decision is made, okay, it's he's got to go.
I've kind of already soured on him already, but it really just depends on who we can. This transfer window is everything. And again, I'm not saying we're going to be a complete team after this window. I don't think we will be, but we better be damn close. At least complete enough to get into that top 6. Because I personally don't think top 4 is attainable this season. I really don't, unless crazy things happen. Like, to me, I think last season was a complete anomaly. I think last season you had teams dropping points for fun. You had, you had Glenn and Rohan playing center back for Liverpool. There's just so many things that can happen in this season. But yeah, I think it just starts off at a transfer window, and it starts off again. And this is just, I guess, my thing is the kids, is the Lokongas, the ESRs, the Sakas. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, if they're not doing what we think they should be doing, then yeah, he's not the right guy for the job, because we are trying to get better. I'm not saying we're not. We are, and we're like rebuilding and stuff. But let's face it, we're on the younger side as far as squads go. So I think we're going to kind of lean on our youth a little bit this season. I'm not saying we're going to play all kids. I'm not saying ZEUS is going to start every game. I'm not saying Balogun is going to start every game. But I think that there's something in that, Saka is going to be a regular in the team. I think ESR will. I think even Lokonga is, and Pepe. So I think with that, I think you really have to monitor how they're progressing, how they're doing as individuals, to really have a reflection on Arteta. Now, will they carry Arteta? They might. They could very well do it. They did that at a lot of points this last season. But it's a very complex league. And as I started this, but I'm already kind of doubting Arteta. But I'm gonna. I don't know. If
it was my choice, I would have respectfully already gotten rid of Arteta. But realizing it's
if we had but the thing is, we need someone to come in. If we could bring someone in like Dan Potts said it, and I've said this name when we hired Emery. I didn't want Emery. I wanted Antonio Conte. I said I want Conte. I'm a big Antonio Conte guy. He was my guy I wanted to bring in. If someone like him is willing to come here, if we can get him signed up, then yeah. See you later. Arteta.
Okay, just real quick before
I think we can.
Rohan and Stan answer this. I'll give him till Christmas before I start getting loud about it. About not wanting him. If we're the same as last year at Christmas time in December. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Well, we're on Arteta. How long a leash does he have with everybody?
I was already since Christmas last year. I was saying that he should be gone. So I'm not going to change my stance. This preseason hasn't shown me enough. In fact, it's shown me that he hasn't learned, and he hasn't got either. He hasn't got the pull, or the club don't back him. It's one of the two, and both of them are just as bad. So if that's the situation and there's no hope, then I think we're just wasting time with him. No.
Stan?
Sorry, I was looking in the chat box, and it seems like old James Fernandez is having a bad day.
I was reading along too.
It looks like he's looking for he's caught his missus, right, getting off with someone else. Right, so he sacked her. now he feels a bit bad about it. It was supposed to be going on holiday with her family for a couple of weeks. And I was just about to write him a little bit. You know what, James? I don't know how old you are. If you could write in the chat box, I'd like to know how old you are, James, if you don't mind. But I'll give you some worldly advice, right? I'm 52 years old, James, and I can tell you this now. If you've caught her doing that, I don't care if she's had a drink or whatever, you can't trust her, right? She's going to do it again. She's capable of doing it again. Now, you may feel bad now, right, that you're not with this bird anymore, and you probably really liked her. But I want to know how old you are, because if you're in your 20s and that, you're going to find someone else. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if you're in your 30s, it's all over. Don't get me wrong. You can still find someone, right?
You're 40,
If you're 40, you're fine. You know, when you get to my age, you know what I mean? When you get to my age, right, you basically put out to pasture, basically. But I'm sure you're a young man there. Don't worry about it. Find someone who's going to be true to you, and you don't have to keep watching over your back. So anyway, that's just my little advice to you, James, right? Because obviously you put it in the chat box. Now, regarding Mikel Arteta, you remember I've got these scales, right? I had my little balance. I was 50-50 when he came in. And some of his decisions, I was swaying. I'm now at 90-10. 90-10 that I want him gone. And what's really swung the scales for me is that, again, I'm being asked about this rebuild and believe in the process and trust in the rebuild. And I just think that when you start extending contracts to Xhaka, and we should have taken, if they weren't offering the money, we should have just taken, it's about a rebuild. And I just don't think that we can rebuild on the same shaky foundations. And for me, that contract, I think that position of where he plays is a glaring hole for us. And there are so many games where his role, for me, it really cost us, in my opinion. And I don't care about what you've done at the Euros and the international stage where the game's a lot slower and you have a lot more time and space. I really think that giving him that contract was lazy and convenient. And he was very instrumental behind it, the manager, as we're talking about. So that's really pushed up the scales now. I'm really annoyed about that. And even though it's been like a week or so, I still haven't called on it because I think it's going to bite us in the bum a little bit later on in the season. So, I'm still giving him to October, like I originally said. However, and this is my second prediction. You asked for 3 predictions. My second one is I don't think he's going to be our manager when the new season starts.
And what?
Because I think that,
wait a minute, that's 3 days away.
Next season. Sorry.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this time next year, he's not going to see it through this season. I don't think. I think that now that we've got crowds back, and if some of the stuff on the pitch continues that I saw last season, I think that the crowd are going to be very vocal about it.
Well, the odds on Arteta getting sacked are 10-1. You can make some cash, Stan.
I didn't know that. Oh.
8th most likely Premier League manager to get sacked.
He's 8th right now?
Yeah, I'm not going to bring up the list because I can't do 2 things.
No,
that's why I don't have the comments on.
James Fernandez is 18. He just got his A-level results. Well,
18? Oh, you're just a baby.
I hope you've done well in your A-levels, man. But I'll just say at 18, you've got it all in front of you, sir. And this is probably not the first time that you're going to suffer a little bit of heartbreak. It happens. That's part of it. But I guarantee you this, James, you will find someone else, and you will find someone that you're going to be able to trust. And that's the most important thing. You don't want to be thinking now, right? If you take this bird back on, you get her back on the firm with you, that every time she goes out and says she's going around her mate's house, that she's not there. And you don't want to be that person that's going to be paranoid all night and constantly texting and that, because that just is not the way to go. Find someone else. You've done the right thing. You done the right.
Yeah, and you could be like me, James. 20 years married, and it's like if my wife wanted to go cheat on me, I'd drive her there. So
that's what you've got to look forward to, James.
Yeah.
And 50% of spouses cheat. Okay, back to football.
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm with Stan on this. I think it's got to be October. And then you
I thought we were talking about James.
Well, that too. But no, with Mikel Arteta, it's October. I think the first 6 is too. I think that's too soon to judge because the window doesn't shut till the end of August. But I think come the end of September, you're going to have a pretty good idea as to what's going on. I think the biggest thing is going to be, are we scoring? Or are we, and I think it was Ryan that said, Bukayo Saka, ESR, are these young kids, are they progressing? Do they look like they're better now than they were, 6 months ago, 8 months ago? I need to see some progression there. It's the end of October, and then it's month to month from there.
But that's just it, BG. I don't think he manages his players well. Whenever they get into form, all of a sudden they're on the bench. That's why I think it took Pepe so long to adapt to the Premier League.
Now, I agree. It was always, and I think we'll all agree on this, that we would see the lineup game to game, and it's like, what's your problem? What do you?
How many pregame shows did we do where we were all like, "What the hell is this?"
I could be wrong here, but was there any player besides Pepe that took that treatment? Because I couldn't think of any. Maybe AMN, but AMN has had trouble getting in and out. He's been in and out of the squad for a while now.
Rob Holding.
Yeah.
Rob Holding had to run 3 games and all of a sudden was dropped for no.
I don't think he was as impactful as Pepe. I think our center backs were interchangeable at that point, and I don't think he was our best center back. So, but the one thing I do want to say real quick, I really like Kevin C's question, and I was going to ask you guys that because I know you guys are all Arteta out at this, that, and the other thing, and I'm leaning more towards that way myself. But who are we going to get? Who's going to want to come here? And granted, I do believe Arsenal is a big club, and I do believe we have very significant, rich history that could lure a manager to be maybe inquire about. But then when you look at exactly what Kevin C said, okay, thank you, goodbye, and then they hang the phone up. I don't see anybody of significance.
See, at this point, we've got to be radicals, right? We have to do something out of the box, and if that means throwing some extra cash, throwing some extra cash, getting somebody in. I mean, Conte, he would have come in for the project if we could have ensured that we give him the money when the transfer fund.
So you're saying since we're not spending money on players, we're going to spend money on a manager? That doesn't make it. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So then that means that just because we're not spending money, we should just be happy with Arteta. Then what is the point of having Arteta? Why can't we just install like you or me or like the 5 of us?
Because they believe the board and they believe in Arteta, and I'm not saying
no, they don't believe in Arteta. You just said that they don't believe in Arteta, but he's the cheapest.
The board does. The board believes in Arteta.
If the board is looking for the right direction, then they have to look for a better manager.
But if nobody wants to come here, we're just going to go talk in a circle.
Then the board does not want the best, right? The board needs to lure the team. See, there has to be some sort of impact. Just think about it. Today or yesterday, PSG has signed Lionel Messi. They have signed Lionel Messi, and 10 years ago or 12 years ago, I don't know, like whatever PSG might have been like 30 years ago, I don't know. But 10 years ago, they were nothing. Now
Well, yeah, they break
have the
rules.
ability. Now so what? Like, what did we get by following these rules?
Well, I'm not saying we should follow the
Correct.
rules, but they're breaking.
So they have been able to sign arguably the best player in history because now they have made a name for themselves. It's not just because they throw the money. There are many other teams, Manchester United, who have thrown the money, but it is PSG who has shown that year in year out they are going to, they're going to challenge. They're going to have the best players. They're going to have the best squads. They're going to try to win things, and that is how people will come. Hey, enough, man! Like,
I don't. So you're saying we should break all the rules and just we just have an infinite cash and just spend all the money and buy whoever we want.
You don't have to spend enough cash if you have the right manager in place, and if you have the wrong manager in place, then you can spend as much money as you want and nothing.
I don't think Pochettino is anything special. PSG got Messi because they break rules.
He's better than Athens.
I'm not arguing. That's not my argument. My argument is Pochettino is not going to. Pochettino on any other team is not bringing Messi. Messi is on PSG because of the money and because they threw money at him and they're like, "Oh, come on, we'll pay you whatever you want. We break rules. We have members of PSG on the UEFA board. They constantly have been known to violate the FFP. And like Glenn said, I think it's fast food plasma, whatever you said. I don't even know. They've been in breach of these apparent rules that are in effect for quite some time now. Man City breached them. They almost got kicked out of leagues, but they figured their way around it because they're no country. I don't know. But like, I get where you're going, but like you're like saying, okay, cool, we need money. We gotta pay our kids through college. Let's go rob a bank. Like the guy Joe on the street, he robbed a bank last week. We could do it. We could rob it. Yeah, well, Joe eventually is gonna go to fucking jail. I mean, granted, PSG is immune to that because they have players on the board, so it's a little different. But you money. I can't believe I'm gonna quote my dad right now on a soccer podcast, and my dad doesn't know the first thing about soccer or football. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't just be giving money out and just give you a contract. We're not gonna bring Messi here.
Okay, value as a club year by year is just decreasing. If money does not grow on trees, then why are we burning all of the equity that we have in terms of goodwill?
Because of the former regime that paid these players through the asshole in wages, and now we can't get rid of them.
Come on, man! Like, when are we going to get over the former regime? It's been 5 years. That was the last time when we were in the Champions League.
When the players leave, I will get over the regime when the players that are here from the previous regime that were overpaying are gone. When they're all gone and we're not still paying those wages, then I'll be over it.
How can they be gone when this manager keeps giving them contract extensions? How can they be gone? They'll just continue being here, no?
Kolasinac, no. Xhaka, we had to out of pure necessity, and to some people, Xhaka is an asset to the club, and I'm not going to argue that because I'm slowly turning the page on Xhaka, and I actually kind of see his use to this team, not as a starter but as a bench player. And then you have people in the academy that people don't want to buy. Nowadays, especially in the Premier League, you want to test it. You want to go take it out for a test drive. You want to get a loan and take him out on loan, and then if you're like, okay, I like it, I'll buy it. It's not that it's not that simple.
Okay, first of all, Ryan, everybody turns into their parents. Second of all, if you're hung up on getting a big name as manager, if Arteta goes, and I want to be wrong about Arteta, I do, but I'm with Rohan. I think it's the wrong man, wrong job. But who heard of Arsene Wenger when we first got him? Okay, I don't think you need to be hung up on having a big name to replace Arteta. Having the right guy in there is important.
Couple of things, right? When Arsene Wenger came to us, he'd already managed in maybe 5 or clubs or so, maybe 6 clubs, different countries. We might not have heard of him, but it was a day, it was a time without social media. We just had the back pages of newspapers. But he was seasoned, right? He'd been around. Mikel Arteta is basically where Mikel Arteta is now, is where Arsene Wenger was when he started at fucking Nantes or wherever it was, right? So it's kind of worlds apart. And if the original question is, can we attract a top manager? And it's like, oh, why would anyone want to come to Arsenal? It's quite simple. And Ryan kind of alluded to it when he was just talking there. It's money. If we show the manager the right amount of money, we can get anyone to come here. But you have to remember, right? If you look at the pay scales of managers, I think Brendan Rodgers is on somewhere between 12 to 14 million. Mikel Arteta is on less than 5. That's
Probably why they like him so much.
That's where we're operating, right? That is where we're operating. And I truly believe that the money that we pay to a manager is probably one of the first and foremost things that the board think about when appointing a manager. We could bring in any manager if you're willing to give them the market rate. We could bring in Conte, we could bring in Allegri, we could bring in any manager if we were willing to say, we will pay you your market rate. But that's the problem. Arsenal doesn't want to pay the market rate, which is why a club as big as Arsenal, because of the people that own it and the people that run it, they're quite willing to let Arsenal be the fucking training wheels of a manager's first run at the job. And that's at the crux of this, right? And that's a fucking disgrace. I was 50-50 when he was appointed because I was like, it wouldn't be my first pick, but, you know, okay. You know, let's see what he can do. 50-50. But at the end of the day, we've given a guy a job that's never fucking done this before. I don't care what he's done with Pep Guardiola. I'm not saying he just put the cones out, but he's never done it to this magnitude. And they've now given him extra duties. They promoted him from head coach to manager. So he's got his fucking nose in more troughs now. He's taking his eye off the ball when he's still learning about the coaching side. And I honestly think that this is really beyond him. And I don't think that just letting him get the players that he wants is the answer. And the reason I say that is, and I'll say it again, Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Frank Lampard was given a fucking huge toy chest to play with. Do you know what I mean? He could not get it to fucking work. And Frank Lampard is more of a legend to Chelsea than Mikel Arteta is to Arsenal. And you've got
that goes back to being ruthless, Stan. We got to be ruthless.
When Everton were looking for a manager at the same time as us, surely you would have to say that. If you're saying legendary status or icon status, Mikel Arteta has more of a reputation with Everton than he does at Arsenal, and Everton weren't interested. They went for experience. They went for Ancelotti. Whether that worked out or not is another conversation. However, they did not feel that Everton Football Club was the place to give somebody their fucking training wheels exercise. But we did. And that was all down to the pounds, shilling and pence that the board are willing to pay for a manager. That's how it works. That's how I honestly believe it works at Arsenal. We could bring in a Bielsa. Bielsa's on 4 million. So he's low. But some of the names that we think that should be managing Arsenal, we are not going to pay that. They're not going to pay that money. They're just not going to do it.
All right. Spirit, I knew this was going to happen. We get really into it right at the very end as we need to knock off on same old Arsenal. So here's the deal, guys. We're going to continue the chat over on Bearded Gooner Media. Simply go into your YouTube search bar if you're not already subscribed. Okay. Lawrence, most of this squad wouldn't get into a game in a pub team that plays at Hackney Marshes on Sunday mornings. Yep. Thanks.
Nice, Lawrence.
Anyway, so switch over if you want to be with us to continue the conversation. We are done on Same Old Arsenal. We will be over on Bearded Gooner Media. You can switch over there. Thank you for everyone that has watched us on Same Old Arsenal. And if you're not switching over, please take care. We will see you next week. Hopefully talking about 3 points in the bank over Brentford.
And do us a favour, if you're coming out of the door, can you drop us a like? But come over and join us on the Bearded Gooner. We're going to go on for a little bit longer, so come and join us.
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Got about another half hour left in us, so please join us over on Bearded Gooner Media. We will see you over there in just a moment. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Good footy talk on Same Old Arsenal. We'll see you out there.
I need a big on-air, off-air sign. Are we still on?
We are still on, apparently.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Nope, apparently we're still on Same Old Arsenal. It won't let me do this now. Huh. Well, we'll figure it out here in a minute. Technical difficulties. Stand by.
Well, I certainly hope you tell me what to do.
Don't do anything. Don't do
Smile.
anything.
Look at the camera and smile.
Don't do anything, Glenn.
You used to be able to.
Rohan, I'm afraid to
there
tweet
we
you
go.
because that poor other Rohan gets my tweets.
Oh my God.
He's like every Wednesday morning. He's like,
Rohan thinks I'm
shit,
funny.
this guy
There we
again.
go.
I learned nothing. I learned nothing.
Shit, this guy again.
I'm surprised that guy hasn't unfollowed me yet.
I'm just out there wanting my stats, and then this guy.
He probably reported you to Twitter for stalking him.
No, he's the sweetest guy. He doesn't even care. He's
New York's fucking stalking me, man.
So we are good. We are now on just on Bearded Gooner Media, and that does look like everybody's starting to hopefully join us over here. Anyway, this is good. I'm enjoying just sitting here listening to you guys.
You missed you're not Sentiment FC's super chat, and he said you didn't do my super chat. Can you still do it from here? Scroll back. He says no football structure.
I see.
No dude, fucking clueless bud. No director or something.
Yes, bring in Ralph Radnick. Ralph Radnick.
No football structure. No do F period clue board and direct. Yeah, figure that out for me.
Okay, I can. No football structure. No DOF.
I know what he's
Clueless,
saying.
board and direct. Okay, just wanted to say. I didn't know if I should get you hooked on phonics with Glenn. I just wanted to make.
I didn't even see his message because I was trying to figure out his handle. I'm like,
hey, listen, there might be a Christmas special, 2-for-1 deal. I'll get it for you, Glenn.
His handle. That's CB talk. I'm so old.
CB talk. Jesus. Oh my. Anyway, so a few of you got a few of your predictions out of the way. Stan, you've given us 2. Aubameyang will not bag 20 goals this season. Arteta will not be here at the beginning of next season, 22-23. Ryan, you have already said that there will be another big signing before this transfer window has shut. And Glenn, you are predicting that we will sign both Houssem Aouar and Martin Odegaard.
Yes, I'm going to be positive with my predictions, setting myself up for a letdown like Mike Hurts. I really believe we're going to sign Aouar and Odegaard, and I think we will contend for top 6, and that'll be enough for Arteta to keep his job. Is that 3 predictions?
That is.
Glenn, you are setting yourself up for quite the letdown.
Okay, first, shut up, and second, I don't have a second.
Fair.
Let
me get at least one from Rohan in here. So,
I think he's gone by Christmas. I think we're not finishing top 6. I agree with Stan. I don't think Aubameyang is bagging 20 goals if Arteta is here till Christmas, because he won't get bagged, 8 or 10 until then. And it's going to be a snooze fest till the time he's here.
I got to do this because it's driving me nuts. Lone Star, listen to me, man. I get it. I get what you're saying. We lost 13 games. I hear you.
Still have the 3rd best defense.
But we still have.
We didn't just lose 13 games. We lost 13 flipping games.
Yeah, so, excuse me, 13 flipping games. But we were still, in terms of goals allowed, 3rd best in the league. That does not change. It's not an opinion. It's a fact that Arsenal were the 3rd best defensive club in the league. 39 goals allowed. That was 3rd best.
You thank Bernd Leno for that.
That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. They were the 3rd best defense. So no question mark. It's not 13 games. That doesn't matter. It's the 3rd best defense based on goals allowed. That's what it is. It's a fact. Done. Please. Enough of that now. It drives me
Can I
nuts.
ask a question just on that little subject, Tanner? So I hear what you're saying, and I remember hearing that stat. Would you say then that if you're going to get the 3rd best defense over the league with what we had, and we've now just added to our defense, you could say with 2 players, right? Ben White and Tavares, he's going to get game time. Would you expect then, if let's say that's an extra, we've just added an extra 57, 58 million to our defense. Should we then expect that, well, if we were 3rd best last season, we should at least be 2nd best this season? At least.
It's funny that you should say that. You should ask this question because it's actually one of my predictions.
Oh, boy.
The answer to your question, to your specific question, should the defense then upgrade? I will say not necessarily. I don't think we'll go to 2nd best in terms of goals allowed. But my prediction was that we will be in the top 5 best in terms of goals allowed. So we will stay in that area. Now, we only allowed 39 goals last year. That's a goal a game is what that averages out to, with the exception of one where we allowed 2. I think that number will go up, but I think that could coincide with more scoring as well across the league. So, who knows? Maybe 2 other teams or 4 other teams. Yeah, look at Rohan getting involved, son. Let's go.
Look, BG,
Damn, if I'd have known that, man, I'd have brought my pizza up here. Yeah.
If you're doing pros and cons for Arteta, okay, having the 3rd best defense in the league, I give him credit for that. But we are wildly inconsistent, so I see where Lone Star's coming from here. It's like, yeah, okay, 3rd best defense in the league, but the points we dropped last season. I can't hang my hat on 3rd best defense in the league. I can't.
This is driving me nuts. Lone Star, it's not an opinion. That's what you're missing. Oh my God. This is the fucking problem with the world today, man. Your opinion is a fucking fact.
You woke up, Daddy.
Oh my God, this drives me nuts, man. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. You're no trophies. I get it. I get where your point is. And you're right there. But this is a fact, man.
To settle your little tiff with Lone Star, that just shows how. I know. But I'm gonna separate you two real quick, and that should just show both of you how bad we were at scoring goals.
You are right, though. You are entitled to your opinion, Lone Star. It's just this isn't like it's not an opinion. But Ryan, say it again.
It should show how bad we were at creating chances and scoring goals, and you can blame a whole nother side of players to do that. And I don't really, this isn't like a crazy prediction, but I guess to piggyback off what you're saying, I think we're going to actually concede more goals next season, but I think we're going to score more also. I don't know how it's going to shake out, if it's going to be even or but I do think we're going to score more, concede less, and we're definitely going to score more, because I do think the type of player Ben White is, he likes to push up, he likes to play a high line, he likes to carry the ball and push it, but that's also a bad thing. It's a con of his, is he gets caught. He gets caught out a lot. And you might start calling him Calamity White or something. I can't think of a way.
I just want to say something positive, since I think I have not said anything positive for like 2 weeks. Seriously. I have liked what I have seen of Ben White. And he's gone forward. He's held the ball well. He's tried to be assertive. And he's not hidden. I like that. Maybe. I just give me some attacking football, really. Positions have been bad and we've lost games before. I am most disappointed because we've stopped playing good football. That's the problem.
Yeah. Real quick, Darren, in the chat, go ahead and put out a little more information on this and drop a link where people can donate for the charity that you're doing this for. We'll chat a little bit more about skydiving, because I actually have a unique perspective into skydiving. I don't know if you've ever done it before. I have a few times actually, but
you passed out, didn't you?
I did not pass out actually. I landed safe and sound, and I had a great time doing it. So go ahead and leave some info in there. And everybody check that out for sure. Stan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, landed safe and sound, but needed to change his underwear quite quickly.
Yeah.
I feel bad for my tandem instructor, because it all went right into his face. So, what Ryan just said, man. I mean, we conceded 39 goals in the league, and we still lost 13 games. Now, this is where I'm going to agree with Lone Star Londoner, but I got to put a different spin on it. And that is, like Ryan said, how dire were we at scoring goals last year? Like that's atrocious. Imagine, and I know that this is not accurate, but if we literally conceded a goal a game in 37 games, and in one game we conceded 2, and we lost 13 games where we conceded 1 goal. Think about that. Now that's not true. But that's what it averages out to, just about. And Rowan, I'm loving watching you.
Oh my, all right. Easy there, fat boy. Come on. Stop it. Come on.
Oh, anyway. But that's what I mean. It's not the defense that needs fixing. And even the defense could have been better in terms of goals allowed when you think about it. the Xhaka mistake against Burnley, the David Luiz
against
penalty
Wolves.
against Wolves. Yeah, I mean, you go back and look at some of these horrendous mistakes that we made. Really, we should have, by rights, averaged less than conceding a goal a game, and we still and we still would have finished where we were. So it's not defense, it's scoring. That's where the problem lies.
Here's a problem there as well. It's like we decided to give Aubameyang over £300,000 a week so that he could cross balls into the box. What is that all about? Every time I see him crossing balls into the box, and I've seen a lot of it during the preseason, I can't believe that we're still drawing from that well.
Because
I just don't see that kind of money does not justify what you're asking him to do. The guy should be in that box, waiting for those crosses to come in. He's not the best at headering, but at least he might be able to bring it down and control it with his foot. I don't know. And I know that you keep saying, Tanner, your biggest argument is that Aubameyang just doesn't fit the system of what Mikel Arteta. And I just have to disagree with that, because from what I've seen, he's still getting up. When he's not crossing the ball into the box, there are other times that he's getting himself into good goal-scoring positions from what I can see. And it just I think it was in that last friendly game, the ball came in and he took a swipe at it and he fucking kicked air. It was right in front of the goal. He kicked air and fell over. I mean, he should have been scoring some goals for fun during pre-season, because in the pre-season you get a lot of time and space. So I'm seeing him getting into good goal-scoring positions, and as they say on FIFA, he's just fluffing his lines every single time, you know. And I'd like to ask. I see Terry's here. All right, Tel, thanks for coming in, mate. Good evening.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate you being
Hey,
here, man.
Terry.
Also, as well, though, I'd like to ask Rohan, because he came in a little bit late, and I know Rohan, you know, has been quite fond of Aubameyang, and it wouldn't be. The guy's a Golden Boot scorer, but what is your opinion on what you're seeing now with Aubameyang? The malaria thing, man, that's well past. You know, he's had a pre-season where he wasn't on any Euro 20 duties, so he's had rest. He's had time to clear his head. He's had training sessions. And I'm really worried that what I saw in pre-season, as I say, I disagree with you, Tanner. I've seen him getting into good goal-scoring positions. I saw it last season as well, getting into good goal-scoring positions, and then taking shots that I would take, because I'm fucking shy. Absolutely fucking shy.
See, Aubameyang's career for me has been night and day, or day and night, you know, since like this season. It's just like, I don't know where it's all gone wrong. Between August of 2019, 2020, August of 2020, when he was winning us the FA Cup, to October of 2020, when, you know, he just, in my opinion, what seemed to me like, bad patch of form, and from there to a dust up, to being dropped in the North London derby, to just lack of effort, to malaria, to mother issues, etc., personal issues. All of that, this season has just been one to forget. And, anybody who has seen me for some time in these podcasts knows how big of an Aubameyang guy I am. And, and you could have told, you could probably tell how disappointed I am with him that I didn't have him in the squad for the squad that we developed for Arsenal, right? Like for this season. So, I think it's a combination of a number of things. Maybe it's the lack of motivation now that he's backed the deal that he wanted. I'd like to think that's not. There's definitely something up with the manager and him. Sometimes he gets dropped, sometimes they don't play according to him. Something's going on there. And I'm just not sure. Maybe, and he's not the guy who will pull you up and who will, take you, drag you up when you're not doing well. And probably the team is expecting that, and that's making it even worse for him. So
Okay, real quick, Rohan. One, tell those people in your dorm room to be quiet. Second, second, I think part of Aubameyang's problem is he's not that good coming in from the left. He's not Henry, okay? So for me, Saka, he's 19 years old. I don't give a shit that he was at the Euros and whatever else. He's 19 years old. He starts, and whoever's in form, whether it's Lacazette or Aubameyang, right now it's Lacazette, form, yeah, whatever, and Pepe on the right. I don't want Aubameyang out left anymore. It hasn't worked. It's screwed up his game, in my opinion. And whoever's in form starts at striker. But it's not Lacazette and Aubameyang at the same time.
But the argument there is, though, isn't there? There is an argument, and I don't want to see Aubameyang starting on the left, but there is that argument that he has scored over 20 goals in the season starting in that position. And you have to think as well, the way that we play, we don't stick rigidly to that formation. And as from what I have seen a lot last season, when we're out of possession, we kind of play in a 4-4-2. Kind of, there's two up front when we're out of possession. When we get into possession, it's like a 2-3-5 sometimes, But what I noticed in that last game that fucking horseshoe was appearing. There were a lot of times where we had the ball and we're like in the third quarter of their area, and all this passing around, but there was there was like, who's going to be fucking decisive here? And there was that horseshoe. What we really want is a horseshoe, but going the other way, not in the U shape, but in an I'm getting at, and an N shape. Yes. The ball's being moved to the fucking goal, not coming back around the outside of the penalty area all of the time, and. It just seems to me that either this must be the way that Mikel Arteta asked them to play. This must be the way that Mikel Arteta asked them to play. And I know Terry's going to be joining us soon. And Terry's a very, very big, staunch, from the last time I spoke with him, a Mikel Arteta in. And I just want to caveat, I'm not saying that I want Mikel Arteta gone, because I would love him to still be able to turn this around. I'm not one of those people that are like, I fucking hate him so much, I want us to lose our first game.
Yeah, exactly.
I want us to lose the next game so that they get him out. I'm not. I would love to wake up tomorrow morning and somehow the fucking football fairies visited him in the night, gave him some sprinkle dust, and he manages to turn it around. Because I do not want us to go for a revolving door of managers. Because the next guy that comes in, he might not fancy Gabriel Megalegs. He might not think that Martinelli can play through the middle. He'll have different ideas. He'll want to do his own thing. And that's the last thing that I want. However, I'm really worried that, as I say, we've given this guy a fucking training program at Arsenal. I mean, you don't take driving lessons in a Rolls Royce. You just don't. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. Because that one little knock on a lamppost, how much that's going to cost to repair that shit? Let me just finish it like this. There is too much at stake by giving him this opportunity. That's what I honestly believe. I believed it on the day that we gave him the job. And right up till now, there is not anything that's made me think otherwise. However, I still want to say I want him to turn it around. I want him to succeed.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I also agree with Arsenal is the 6th biggest club in the world, and it's not a place for a manager to have on-the-job training. I agree.
Yeah, I get the on the job training thing. I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, right? Everybody's got to start somewhere, and
somewhere you don't start at the top there, do you? I mean,
but in other, and I know everybody hates it when I do this, and I don't give a shit because I'm the fucking host of the show, and I've got fucking.
Well, don't even acknowledge it; just do it already.
Oh boy, here we go.
The fact is, I mean, NFL coaches they cut their teeth at the NFL level. They don't go to college and cut their teeth down there. They don't.
A lot of them do.
Who? This is another show for another time. You and I will debate this all day long. I will eviscerate you on that. No, because the ones that go to college they can't do college because they can't recruit, and the ones that start in college and try to come to the NFL
they don't work out.
Can't deal with grown men.
No, I agree, but a lot of coaches come through college.
The thing for me is this. Okay, in American professional sports, what Mikel Arteta did, this was the next natural progression. He was an assistant with a big team, a really good team.
Won trophies with them.
Won trophies with that
Big
team
trophies
as an
with
assistant, and then came here to try to be the guy. To me, that's the natural progression. Here's the difference. Hang on, hear me out, because I will acknowledge the difference. I will stipulate the difference. That is, there are lower levels to the English, to the European football game, where he could have gone to be a manager somewhere else first at a lower level club. I acknowledge that, and that's not wrong. That's not wrong. I look at it as, and Stan, you made this point earlier, and I didn't agree with this at first, but I wholeheartedly agree with it now. And that is, he was the guy that was the cheap option. They weren't going to go and get Nagelsmann from Leipzig at the time.
He wasn't going to come here.
But he wasn't going to come. I mean, but I'm
telling you, the person we would have gotten to take over Emery would not have been much better than Arteta, and we would have paid way more money for.
And that's, and to a degree, that's it too. But I think that Arteta's the guy for two reasons. I'm coming around on the money side of it, but I also think that when you look at the Kroenkes and the way that they deal with their other sports teams here in America, they took chances on young guys with no head coaching experience, and it worked, and that gave them a big ego to think they could do it with Arsenal as well. I'm not saying it's right. I'm simply saying I think that was what was in their head. And I agree that this is a different beast. I fully understand that. But again, it's not like he was an assistant at Derby County. He wasn't an assistant at Sheffield Wednesday. He was an assistant at the champions of English football.
One of the best teams in the world.
And
I'll quote the late great Claude. Putting out cones for Pep does not qualify you.
Everything that we saw is the opposite. Everything we saw is the opposite. He showed him in the training players. People said that he was the one who really coached the team. I guess Pep gave out the plan. Pep had the overall plan. But Arteta was the one that took his arm and put his arm around the players and actually coached them one-on-one. And there's proof of that. There's video evidence of that.
He put his arm around Lucas Torreira.
Because again, Stan, if you listen to me the last 6 times I said it, he was constantly teased by other players in the club, and Torreira does not want to play here anymore. He doesn't want to be in Arsenal. He doesn't want to be in London. He doesn't like the weather. He doesn't like the atmosphere, and I don't blame him. You even yourself posted in our group message a link about him being teased.
To get to stomp that kind of fucking
but
stuff out of the club, right?
But no one wants to buy glass in it, so
Ryan, part of being a great manager, part of being a great manager, part of being a great person is knowing when you are wrong and swallowing it and saying, and don't do any dumb swallow jokes either. And realizing,
wait, you know what, Glenn, you just did it, so it's all good.
and realizing, hey, listen, we got off on the wrong foot, Torreira.
But he shouldn't be apologizing to Torreira. Torreira doesn't like the weather. He doesn't like the country. And on top of that, he's getting teased by probably the cool kids at the time, the cool kids club. So what do you come on? I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta didn't even know any of this.
Well, he probably didn't, but it doesn't detract from the fact that if he is the manager, because this is something I do agree with. You're both right. You're both right. There was bullying. He doesn't want to be here, but it is up to Arteta as the manager now to go and as Stan says, put his arm around him and make him feel welcome, make him feel like, hey, look, man, you got to understand something. Like, I don't want to go out and buy a new player to play your position.
Torreira doesn't give a fuck about that. You tell him, I don't want to buy someone else. Please stay. Please be better. They're like,
You're the man. If I come up to you and I tell you you're the man in this position, you're the guy I want.
I don't think Arteta knew it at the time. I think he knew a player didn't want to be here.
He knows it now.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't know it now.
Torreira does not want to be
He
here.
doesn't?
Torreira does not want to be here. He's not the man. Torreira does not want to be in England.
This is the time when we start getting your charm out. We ain't got the money. We're light in that fucking area. We've got someone at the club who can play. This is where you fucking start to charm someone and you fucking convince them. You cajole them. This is where you've got to fucking start using that side of your skill to make them feel. And you saw that video. Somebody said that, how did you know about Ryan? Someone was basically saying in the chat that Ryan was talking bullshit about the bullying. I saw that. I posted the video in our private chat, and basically it was a Kolasinac. They're in the change room after a game, and they're like a little Arsenal baby grow, and they were filming it, and Aubameyang was there. They were all laughing, and Torreira was sitting on in his little space, and he come over and he said, like, basically he was saying, like, you know, this is what you should wear because it would fit you, you know. And they're all laughing and that. And Aubameyang's the captain. He was laughing as well, and you could see that Torreira was trying to smile about it and all that. But what else is he going to do? Do you know what I mean? And there were stories as well that in training that, you know, everybody's fucking favourite. Again, third time his name's been mentioned on this show. Fucking Ozil was in charge, not in charge, but involved in the bullying as well. So, you know, Mikel Arteta should be stamping that shit out and making everybody feel that, you know, that they're all starting on the same page. Because I'm telling you now, if you're looking at the central defensive midfield, who is at the club that plays that position? As far as I can see, it's only fucking El Neni and the guy that Lucas Torreira. Because Thomas Partey, even though he's a deep lying player, he's not a CDM. Nope. Xhaka's not a CDM. Nope. You know, we're looking at some of the players that we're looking at. I would probably go as far as say that maybe Lokonga as well. Lokonga could play that position because he said, I'm a number 6. That's my position. So people saying that he's an understudy for Partey, well, that can't be right because Partey's not a CDM, but Lokonga's telling us that he is. So this is where you should be being smart now and thinking, I need that position. If you're a manager, you're sitting up there, you're looking on your notepads, you should be thinking to yourself, I've got one sitting right in front of me and I know that he can play. And maybe I can next transfer window in summer, I can bring someone in, but I need to do some shit now. I need to go on the charm offensive. That's what I'd be thinking.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? You know, maybe it doesn't work, but at least I fucking tried.
You can always find excuses.
Who says he didn't try? That's what I'm confused about.
Set him out on loan.
I understand.
But before that, we don't know if he tried or not. We don't know. I'm not defending him. I agree with you guys. I think Torreira is the answer, and I think Torreira would be perfect.
The powers that be in the world decided to tell all of us common folk, including them, that we weren't allowed to do anything. We were shut in our houses. That's what happened.
You can find excuses for a situation that you don't like because of what happened to him. And I'm not even joking when I say this. It's like with my wife, I could give you a million friggin' reasons why my marriage sucks. But you know what? She's my best friend, and she does a lot of stuff. You know, that she does I can't do the bills. She does, you know, I can find lots of reasons.
What? Glenn, blink twice if you got a gun on you.
But the bottom line is, you know, she's my best friend. I love her. And you know, frig the other reasons why, you know, I get disgusted with marriage. Rohan, you know, tell Torreira, we're not going to bomb you up front like Unai did. You know, give him a position. Rohan, I'm dying to hear if you rate Torreira because you've been very quiet during this whole thing.
I remember when he had come in, my friends who were fans of other clubs who used to say that we found our replacement to Vieira finally. Remember the overhead kick that he had where he could have had it, but he did the overhead kick. I mean, loved him. And North London Derby where BG and our guy Stan was there, and then we've just bottled that poor man management.
In response to whole clicks were broken. That's why
that's another strike against Arteta for me. You get that locker room under control. That should not be allowed.
How do you know he saw it? Like you're like assuming he like was there during everything going on. I don't know. Like
he was there for some of it. So if he didn't see it, so hang on. If he didn't see it, then he's not present enough because he should be seeing these things. And if he did see it, then he turned a blind eye to it. Either way,
he's not in the locker room where they're all getting changed. He'll go in there for like team talks and stuff, but he has his own office. He doesn't get changed with the team.
Yes, I know. I've seen it. And you know
Okay.
where the office is?
All right, but you're saying he's there the whole time.
Ryan, we are discussing it. Trust me, Arteta knows about it.
Can I just
you
say,
don't know. Why are you assuming that? We don't.
Ryan,
I'm not saying
Ryan.
he doesn't. We don't know.
Ryan, why are you hung up on this one point? If you are the manager, and wait, just let me ask you this question and then I'll shut up. If you're the manager, and even if you weren't there and you hear it secondhand and it's confirmed, aren't you going to do something about it? Why are you so hung up? Well, I didn't see it.
I don't know what he heard, what he didn't hear, but I knew that because I heard from multiple people that Ozil was a problem in the dressing room and he was a problem with clicks and all that. So what they do, they got rid of him. I'm not trying to defend Arteta because, like I said, I'm not his biggest fan either. Probably more of a fan than you guys are, but I'm still not a big fan of his. But I guess my whole argument, because I don't even know why we're still going on about the bullying thing, because to me, the Torreira bullying thing does not matter. Hold on. The bullying doesn't matter to me. He does not want to live in London. He does not like the weather. He misses his family. He does not want to be here. No, you can't charm your way into all of a sudden be like, you're not going to miss your family anymore. You're going to like the cloud and rain that comes in England every day. You're not going to convince a player to all of a sudden like these things that they're not used to. He comes from Uruguay, which I don't know if anyone's a geography expert here. It's pretty close to the equator. It's pretty hot. Doesn't rain much there. Maybe it does. I don't know. But it's very, very hot there. So it's a very changed system of weather.
But you understand that he's under contract. And if no one from Uruguay or Argentina or South America come in to buy him, he is under contract at Arsenal, and he is an Arsenal player. So the team isn't going to just say, you know what? You miss your family.
Yeah, but he's played for us, and he's been. I mean, granted, Unai did bomb him up and played him way up position, but so fine. But it hasn't played well for us. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I mean, you come across like, well, just let him go. Like, okay, let him pack up his things and let him leave. No, this is a business. He has a contract. He's not just going to pick up and leave because he doesn't like the fucking weather.
No, but it's going to affect his mood.
Mikel Arteta, as the manager of Arsenal Football Club, has a response.
I agree.
No, you don't. Okay. Has a responsibility.
Yes.
To say to Lucas Torreira,
yes,
you are a professional, and you are a professional with this football club in this city, in this country, in this climate, and from there, you need to, as Stan said, charm him. You need to make him feel like he is a part of this football club, and that he is still a good, valued, and wanted player.
Yeah.
So why are you arguing? Because
he doesn't want to be here. It's just
okay. Wait.
Whether
because
or not
he doesn't want to be here, you just don't try. Don't bother. You don't think he can change his mind?
Arteta could have tried. Listen, I'm not saying Arteta is a great man manager. I'm not saying that. He could have shit the bed with Torreira. But the fact remains, Torreira does not want to be here. That's it. He doesn't want to be here.
You do things every fucking day you don't want to do.
Guys,
but I'm not under contract and I'm not getting paid all this money. Or no, I have a job. I go to my job every day.
All the more point for you to try because he is under contract. What else are you going to do with him? Fuck it. I don't care. He don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to him. Just go sit. Go sit in the corner.
I'm not defending Arteta, and I'm not saying Arteta didn't do this. He didn't do this. He did a bad job. I agree. But Torreira just does not want to be here. I think we need to accept he does not want to be here. I don't think anything's going to convince him otherwise.
If you have level-headed minds, one hand can wash the other. All right, Lucas, you don't want to be here. If it's true what you're saying, Ryan, you don't want to be here. Well, you're under contract. Start for me. Show other teams what you got. It'll be easier for you to leave.
Exactly.
I agree.
And you know where you are. He's turning around. He's getting the minutes. He's enjoying himself. And he turns around and says, you know what? Maybe I think I want to stay now.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And what you do is, right, when that video that we saw of the bullying in the change room, if you want to call it that, I think it was a little bit out of order. But that obviously, to me, I think that happened under Unai Emery's watch, right?
Yes.
So what you do is it was on fucking social media. You know, that's how I saw it. You walk in when you're fucking the next manager, Arteta, you walk in and in one of your first meetings, you show it on your telephone. You say, number one, this fucking shit stops now.
I'll tell you what you do.
The
You
first
go,
thing
you
is,
get that,
we don't do
you
this
get that
shit.
baby
We're
thing,
all
you get
in
a
this
fucking
together.
kerosene, you light it on fire, and off you go. That's done. Sorry, Stan. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
I
ahead.
was just saying, like, you play it and you just say, number one, this shit stops now. We don't do this shit. Do you know what I mean? If I see any more of this shit, you'll have me to fucking answer to. I don't care if you're the captain or you're just coming through the academy. This shit stops now.
It's so funny after all this talk that we've had. I'm so excited for the Amazon documentary now. I really want to see what goes on. And I wasn't excited before. I'm actually excited now because maybe
you
now
probably-
we'll
You
probably see
like
some
those. You
shit.
probably like those shows like World's Greatest Car Crashes, right? Because that's what it's going to be.
Dude,
Faces of death.
I have listen.
Oh my god!
There was a period of time when I used to go to bed. I would leave ridiculousness on, and I would just watch people falling into shit, kids getting pelted with stuff, kids falling off bikes. It's fantastic.
Is that Circle Terry? Because he's a very positive guy.
Yes, let's all welcome Terry to the Same Old Arsenal USA. Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Sure can,
Yes.
man. How are you, friend?
I'm really good, thank you. Sorry, I can't have my camera on. I'm driving home at the moment, just finishing work. So I've got it on loudspeaker and I can hear you as loud and clear. I just wanted to come on and say thank you for having me. I hope it's all good, everyone in the chat room good, and I hope Glenn and Stan are really good too.
Yes.
All right, mate.
Yeah, Terry, tell everybody, you're a very positive guy. Tell everybody why we should be positive about this upcoming season.
First of all, I've obviously been listening in the background on both channels. I just want to say, fantastic show, guys. Everyone, smash the like button.
Thank you, Terry.
For me, I think a lot of people don't look at what's happening on a whole at Arsenal. What I mean by that is, and as Glenn and Stan knows, I say this all the time on my podcast, is that there's a lot of things that's happened in the background that have been absolutely fantastic by Arsenal when you consider that most of the Arteta out brigade, obviously you always say that these Edu and Arteta and all them, do you know what I mean, are just cone picker-uppers, don't know what they're doing and everything like that. We are so much in a better position as a club if Arteta does get the sack and another manager comes in. And what I mean by that, guys, is that just for instance, all the young guys that we've got on our books that we all rave about, Saka, ESR, Martinelli, Balogun, all these players are all signed up to now 5-6 year deals. Right now, if just take, for instance, Saka or Smith Rowe, for instance, just for next season. If they go out and smash it again like they did in the last 6 months of last season, what that's going to do for our club, we don't want to be a selling club, don't get me wrong, and we don't want to sell them. But obviously, because of how good they're going to be, if they are that good, what you've got to look at is the teams will come sniffing. And if they do, we're going to be in a position then to be able to turn around and do what Aston Villa have done this time, and that's sell a player for over £100 million. Now, for a club as a business, that is fantastic. And let me just reiterate what I just said. I do not want to be a selling club. Obviously, we want to keep our young players and all that. But why didn't the old regime under Emery, who apparently was, had experience, he won cups and things like that, and then you had Gazidis working under Arsenal, why didn't they sort all this out? Why didn't they sort all this out?
Good point.
Yeah.
My worry is, they tell, and as much as we love some of these kids, is that because of the state of the squad at the moment, and granted, we're talking about the state of the squad today, the window's still open, something could happen, but if nothing does happen, my worry is that some of these youngsters, we're going to be over-relying on them, really over-relying on them, and I fear that if that happens, one of them could get a serious injury, or could go through a patch where they're playing through burnout, the performances tail off, and then the crowd get on their back, and there's no one to really rotate them with, and they're being overplayed.
I totally agree with you, Stan. I totally understand where you're coming from. I've got no problem with people that say that, and obviously that could happen if we don't go out and buy anyone else. Then we are looking at a season where we need all of our main players to stay fit, and we know at Arsenal that don't happen. I mean, just going on what we've bought already. Obviously, we bought 3 players, at the start of the season, basically. The start of the window, which Arsenal Football Club don't do. Obviously, I think Ben White is going to be an absolutely fantastic player to come in. He's a big upgrade on what we've got already. For 50 million, I don't think that's a lot of money considering over 5 years. If we've got him for like 5 years and he does a really good job, that's 10 million a year. I think Ben White is a great player to come in. I think Lokonga it looks really good. Hopefully, for me personally, I want to see him starting with Partey. So I think that's another great acquisition. And Tavares, we know that Tierney, we want him to be our captain. We know that, he's going to get injured, unfortunately, during the season. We would all love him to stay fit for a season, but that's not going to happen. And Tavares, what a great example of a player and a leader to learn off. Then Tierney, who's got the art and passion as a left back and a captain that we want Arsenal. So he's going to, he's very young and he's going to learn under him. Now, moving forward, obviously, I would love, Stan and Glenn, that there's two players that I've said for the last 3-4 years that I would love at Arsenal. One was Grealish. Obviously, he's gone to City now. Good luck to him. And the other one is Maddison. Maddison, for me, I think if we can get Maddison across the line, I think that propels our team and our squad into, a much higher level than where it is at now.
We're not that far apart, although I think Madison said he's not a number 10. Am I correct, guys? I've been wrong so many times on this show.
Yeah, and I think a good point Terry brings up, which we've kind of like alluded to in other podcasts, is just about how these players, Martinelli, ESR, Saka, Balogun, they all re-signed. They signed extensions knowing that Arteta is the manager. So obviously they see something that apparently we don't. And I think that this is definitely a good thing. And I think we are making steps in the right direction. Granted, I get it because we're doing it at such a young age. And, we are doing a lot of things, not necessarily behind the scenes, but things like Keto Taylor Hart getting signed, which I think is big for our academy. Signings, a couple seasons ago, we signed from Hertha Berlin, Omar Rekic, a young center back that we thought was going to make moves. So we are making moves. They're just, problem is our moves are very slow and they're younger guys. They're going to take a while to pan out, like Lokonga. Lokonga could probably come good sooner rather than later, so that's good too. I just think we're taking the slow inchworm approach because we want to be better for longer. Granted, I know most fans, I don't want to say entitled. That's probably too strong of a word, but I think a lot of fans, they want to win now and they don't care why. They want to bring in Conte right now. They want to sign Messi now. That's just not going to happen.
I don't think it's about wanting to win the league today, but there's a certain level that we have to maintain, right? Like we started off at one point, we were dealing with Manchester United at the top of the table. Then we said 4th place trophy. Then we were top 6, the big 6, and now we're outside of it, and we sort of want to follow the Aston Villa model for some reason. It just doesn't make sense to me. The fact also is that what's happening outside the pitch, which is signing these players, etc., is something that we did terribly before, and we're doing well now. So I can applaud that. But what we've been doing on the pitch has just not been convincing, and the main reason why I've supported Arsenal through the years is because they've at least played some attractive football. I believe that 90 minutes of football is 90 minutes that you watch, and a goal can happen, 2 goals can happen, 3 goals can happen in the space of cumulatively 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? But there's 87 more minutes of the game that are left to play, and I don't want it to be a snooze fest, which is what it's been for the last season and a half, almost 2.5 years.
And I agree. I think that's our reason why.
Please just let me do a 15-second add-on to what Rohan just said. It wasn't that long ago we were all complaining about, damn it, every year 4th place. All right, now I draw the line at 2 years in a row at 8th place. I want to contend for top 6, and I don't think the team in its current form can do that.
And I agree with you, but the fact of the matter is we're not going to spend $100 million on Jack Grealish. We're not going to spend $115 on Lukaku.
Or however the hell you say his name, and Odegaard. That
okay, but I'm sorry. I think they're great players, and they do upgrade us. They're not Jack Grealish. They're not Lukaku. And signings like Grealish and Lukaku are the signings you need to make as a club to propel you to the top threes, the top fours, and win now. And we've never done that. Why all of a sudden that we're in such a funk? We're going to just start now, spending $100 million on one player. We're just not going to do that. It's not going to happen.
You got to remember, 4 seasons, Chelsea drop out of the top 4 and they finish like 10th or they finish 6th or something like that. They won the Champions League in 2012. The next season they fell out of the league. Mourinho got sacked that season. They finished 10th. But what do? They bounce back. And I'm not saying that you need to go and spend like Chelsea do, but at least you need to show some urgency.
But that's what they did. They spent money. It's funny enough. They spent money. They got Conte. They brought Conte in. He did wonders. And
if we look to what Chelsea did, we're always going to be disappointed. They're owned by the 3rd richest guy in the world, and they are one of 2 Premier League teams that have stated they are not for profit. So he's just going to spend. We know that's not going to happen. I just want to contend for top 6. Can I just ask Terry, because I haven't talked to you in a long time, do you think Arsenal, its current form, can contend for top 6, Terry?
Well, the thing is this is what I don't understand and always, because you were talking about earlier, I don't know who it was, I think it might be Bearded Gooner, and that is obviously the form of the second half of the season last season. We was, we was really good, and we was the third best team for not conceding goals. So if we can carry that forward with the 3 new players that we've got already, that already improves our team, I think, personally, as a squad. We should be looking for top 6.
So what did you see? What did you see in pre-season, Terry? That makes you think that way, because I have
pre-season, Stan. I mean, listen, we all know that these are just friendlies and God knows what. And I remember the last, I think, 2 or 3 seasons before that, we went out and won all of our games. And then everyone was saying, "Oh, look what we're going to do in the league," just because we won the pre-season games. Pre-season, and if you look at Bayern Munich, for instance, they've not won one of their pre-season games. So we're saying now that they're going to be in a relegation battle.
And the year we went, the year we were in the Invincibles year, we lost. The club always escapes me. We lost to like a League One team. We lost to a really bad team. Don't remember who it was, but it goes to Glenn's point. And Glenn, I gotta give you props. But preseason, it matters, but it also, the results don't matter.
So I'm just going for a tunnel, boys. So I might lose you for about two minutes.
So you're not worried then that we've gone through a pre-season and Aubameyang hasn't scored a single goal, and he hasn't even looked like scoring. That's the thing. He hasn't even looked like scoring. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Well,
I'm not saying that we have to. I know that we've had pre-seasons where we've had stellar pre-seasons. I remember pre-seasons where Eddie Nketiah was banging them in, and then he doesn't translate. I get that, but I've not seen anything in pre-season, any glimmers of anything. Maybe Lokonga.
Well, the one glimmer I will give you,
looking at he's ready to maybe start sooner than what I thought. But other than that, I ain't seen shit.
The one glimmer I will give you is, if I guess you didn't watch the Millwall game, Aubameyang had a very nice bicycle kick and he hit the crossbar, and Callum Chambers ended up banging it home. So that was my one glimmer that Aubameyang probably gave me this preseason. But honestly, I'm not worried about Aubameyang because I think we have better players than Aubameyang. I think we could put out a team without Aubameyang in it that could still compete for top 6. And again, it does depend on probably 1 or 2 more signings, but Aubameyang is the best player on this team, so no, I'm not worried if Aubameyang can't bang it in.
I don't see how he fields a team and leaves Aubameyang out. I just don't see how Mikel Arteta does it. It's going to be too much pressure. The amount that we're paying.
No, I agree. No, I agree. I think
if you're an owner, you'd be looking at it. You're going to say, "Hold on a minute, mate. I backed you with Ozil. You didn't want to play in. I backed you with that, and now you're doing it again. And you gave this guy the contract. You got to make it fucking work. You have to make it work, mate. I can't keep agreeing with playing these fucking players high.
I agree, and I think that's going to be Arteta's downfall. I think he might give in, but it's funny. One of my bold predictions this season is I don't think Aubameyang is going to finish as the head captain of Arsenal. So if Arteta's got to make drastic changes, to keep his job, which it looks like it's getting to that point, then he's going to do it. I think he will do it because then obviously he'll be out of a job. But and another thing I will say about Aubameyang is he's not going to be our most capped center forward this season. I think he'll only be left winger.
Guys, my wife is Lucas Torreira, and I'm London. I have to go.
So you're leaving your wife, or your wife is
No. She's just telling me how wrong I am and how she's upset. I got to go, but it was a pleasure. Terry, if you can hear me, don't drive into a bridge abutment. Take it easy.
See you later.
Can I quickly ask you a question?
Yeah.
And Stan, you answer it first, since you just asked me. So do you think, obviously, when you're talking about Aubameyang, and obviously he's not in great form at the moment, we all know that, he's not scoring, but do you think then our main priority is to go out and get a striker? And if it is, because obviously, let's be honest, the Arteta out brigade are saying that we need to go and get a striker and things like that, but all the Arteta out brigade, as you will know, that come on our show, was all moaning, saying that, oh, Arteta, he doesn't like playing the youngsters. You know, we've got Martinelli there. We've got Balogun there. Surely we should be giving them two first option then, because that's what all of the Arteta out brigade wanted last season. And kept moaning about Arteta, saying that he doesn't play them. So should we then go out and get someone like a Tammy Abrahams or Martinez, and then that will put them further down the pecking order?
It depends who we sell, right? I mean, I just think that if you sell Lacazette and don't buy anybody, the gap between a profile player, I'm not saying that, you know, Aubameyang's thinking up the place, but just looking at stature and profile, the gap between Aubameyang and then saying that our next striker is Balogun, and you could say that Martinelli's more work in progress, right? They're trying to transition him into another position. The gap, I think, is just too big. Would be too big. So we'd have to bring in someone. But personally, if we're talking about the forwards, I'd like to rip the whole thing up and start again. I'd like to get rid of Lacazette and Aubameyang personally, both of them. You know, and if we, as I mentioned a minute ago about not playing players, if you don't play Aubameyang, that's like 300 grand a week that you're not using. And if you're not playing Willian, that's another 200 grand. That's more than £500,000 worth of assets that you're just discarding. And if you're the guy that's sanctioning these deals as an owner, you're looking at it from a business sense, surely you'd be scratching your head and saying, hold on a minute, I can't bankroll this. If I'm going to sanction these kind of deals, bring in a Willian on a 3-year deal, give him 200 grand a week, and I'm going to increase them. You've got to play these players. I can't do this, and then you not play them, and then you come back to me and say, I need more. I need another player. Yeah. It's bad management.
You think Kroenke's really going to ask Arteta why Aubameyang's up? But I don't think Kroenke even knows Aubameyang's first name. Like, I don't know. I think
maybe Josh then is asking the question, but I'm just looking at it as a business, as just being a little bit logical. I think he's snookered himself. How can you drop Aubameyang? I just don't see it. He's basically the face of the club. When you look at the players on the pitch, he's that face. You know, when you're doing any kind of marketing, you want to take pictures of the new kit or whatever. He's one of the first go-tos, right? He's the face of Arsenal at the minute, and it's not working.
Yeah, I can't wait till we shift to Kieran Tierney as our new captain.
No, I agree with what.
Does that help? Right? You strip him. You strip Aubameyang. Does that? What good is that going to get? Is that going to get you the 300,000 a week that you're paying for, or does that diminish? Do you know what I'm getting at? We've really backed ourselves into a corner. And I'd like to ask you, Terry, I know that you are an Arteta supporter, and I am to an extent, because as you know, I want to back the Arsenal. I want to back the Arsenal manager, but I don't want this rotating door. But I do think that this job is too big for him. And as I said earlier, I don't know if you heard, Terry, nothing would please me more than to wake up tomorrow morning and he's found the answer and he's managed to turn it around. I'm not one of those that want us to lose our first game to Brentford out of spite just to get rid of Arteta. I'm not like that. But let me ask you, if you had a magic wand and you could say, okay, I can change the manager tomorrow, and the world is your oyster, would you go for it, or are you that entrenched with Arteta? You still want to continue with it?
I mean, look, like I said, I think there was a much bigger job that needed to happen, and it did not matter what manager come in, even before Arteta. I think it would have took at least 4 or 5 years. You know that, Stan. I've been saying that since the very beginning. Even I wanted Arteta to come in. So for me, like I said, I think things are going in the right direction. I think the club on the whole is starting to act like a football club again. Like I said, with the youngsters all being signed up, getting rid of the poison of the players going out. Obviously, it's taking a bit longer than what I would like. I would have liked it to have happened, and all the dead would be gone at the beginning of this transfer window. I would have loved for that to happen. If you're saying to me, you know what I mean, I can go out there and probably get any manager that I wanted. I think I would say I would go for Pep.
Okay.
I think I would say I would go for Pep.
So you believe then that we could, if you're saying then that you believe that we could actually upgrade on this manager? Obviously, it's not going to happen, right? We can't afford a Pep. We're not going to get a Klopp. We won't get a Conte. But you are saying that in a perfect world, if we could, you believe then that we could upgrade on the current manager, and you'd be open to it.
I mean, if like I said, if the option come about, and someone said to me, if Pep, you know what I mean, would you want to keep Arteta, or we can go and get Pep right now? He wants to sign. Then I would definitely say go and get Pep. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
But I still don't. That doesn't mean that I think just because Pep comes in straight away that Arsenal were then in the top 4 challenging for the title within 1 or 2 years. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Fellas,
my thing is that there's obviously what Terry has said has given me a perspective and given me some hope from outside the pitch, but within the pitch, and I'd like to hear what Terry has to say, about the style of play that we have, and third best defense, but losing 13 games and not adding to our offense and adding more to our defense, making the defense maybe better, but sitting back. And the preseason hasn't really shown me much in terms of attacking change. So where do you see the change really being? Like, what's changed from last season that should take us from 8th place to, say, 5th place or 6th place or 4th place, whatever?
Terry, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. That was Rohan talking. He wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that? Sorry, Rohan.
No, all I said was that the change that has been made in the team has been in the defense. We've had the 3rd best defense while losing 13 games. The problem has clearly been in attack. In the preseason as well, we haven't seen as much attack. And like I said, my issue has been the style of play, really, that we've had. So what's really changed from last season that gives you hope that we're going to finish better than 8th and finish 6th or 5th or 4th,
The only hope that I've got, like I said, Rohan, is that I still believe that there's 3 weeks left of the transfer window. I still think that we're going to get 2, maybe 3 players to come in. Obviously, I'm hoping that one of them is Maddison. There's a lot of talk, obviously, with Tammy Abraham, and hopefully one more, maybe Awar or someone else. But like I said, if we do get another 2 or 3 players in, for me, that's like 6 players we've got in. 6 players, new players that are added to the squad that we've already got. With the fantastic young players that we've got, hopefully we can keep our main players fit. And then moving forward, that's what I'm trying to say. If you look at it like this, where you'd have Leno in goal, Tierney at left back, probably White and Gabriel in defence, central defence. Obviously, at the moment, we'd all like to see a right back come in. I don't want to see Bellerin in there at all. So I would be looking at trying to get a right back and all. But at the moment, he's probably going to play Chambers. And then you've got Partey and Lokonga at the moment. That's who I'd play in midfield. And then you've got a bundle of players to play up front. You've got Saka, Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Balogun, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, that you can all choose from. And then, obviously, you've got Tavares that will be a backup for Tierney. And you've got, hopefully, Maddison to come into that. And maybe Abrahams. And if you've got that sort of a squad moving forward, then surely, even you, like even fans out there, must have a little bit of hope that we'll be pushing forward next season.
Can I answer that? I'd like. It seems that you put a lot of stock into the quality of the players over the coaching. And I just have to go back again to what I said earlier in the show about what happened at Chelsea. Because Frank Lampard went into Chelsea and he got what he wanted. They had a ban on that, but the guy ended up with Timo Werner, Ziyech, fucking Kai Havertz, other players that they brought in. And he just wasn't able to get a tune out of those players. And then mid-season, they bring in a manager that has more experience, and he manages to steer that same squad, right, the same squad to the Champions League final. And I just think that that's something that, you know, that's you can't dismiss that. You know, that change of manager and the experience that he has over a Frank Lampard. And you have to say that Frank Lampard probably has more managerial hands-on experience than Mikel Arteta. You know, but Frank, with bigger riches at his disposal, higher quality players, was only able to get Chelsea so far. Yet they switched mid. You know, Thomas Tuchel didn't come in and bring a load of players with him. He worked with the same tools, managed to get a bigger tune out of them. And I just think that you can't dismiss that. I don't think. You know.
No. Listen, I understand where you're coming from, Stan, and to a certain extent, I do agree with you. But what I would look at is the whole picture again there, and that is why didn't Tuchel or any of these big massive managers go and manage Chelsea when they was in the hard time of not going out and having to buy players? They didn't want to go there and do that then. And let's be honest, Chelsea have got the money to go and get whatever manager that they want. But no manager wanted to go to Chelsea at that time. They could only go and get Frank Lampard.
The point that I'm making, I think the point that I was trying to make is that with the same squad that we had last season, as much as I want Mikel Arteta to succeed, I still think that I could name 15 other managers, and some of them aren't. These not fancy Dan fucking world-class managers that I believe would have got us higher up the table with the same players. I believe that. I do believe that. I believe David Moyes. I'm not a David Moyes fan by any fucking shout. I believe Alan Pardew would have got more of a tune out of our fucking team than Mikel Arteta.
You think Alan Pardew would have gotten Saka to resign, Martinelli to resign, Iasai to
I'm
resign?
not talking about the resigning. I'm just talking about the results.
That's everything. These young guys resigning is everything. Yes, I know. The way we play this field is not great.
Did Thomas Tuchel get people to resign or bring in players? He got given.
No, he gets money. He could have probably gotten Grealish for 100 mil, but he got Lukaku for 115.
I'm not talking about the re-signings. I'm not talking about bringing in new players to improve. I'm just talking about working with what you've got. I honestly believe that there are a lot more managers that would have got us higher up the table than where we ended up. We've been 8th for 2 seasons in a row. Not one, twice now.
And I don't disagree with you. The only thing I'll disagree with is they would have got us higher up the pitch, but they also would have not re-signed Martinelli, Saka, ESR, Balogun. I'm not saying none of them would have resigned. But we would be in a worse position. We would then probably finish 14th.
How do you know that? But if we had another manager,
what do you mean?
Let's say that they got us into Europe.
Stan.
We were in Europe. Maybe they would have resigned because they'd be playing in Europe.
Just quickly, because I really need to go now, boys.
Mikel Arteta is a salesperson, right? He could sell me a second-hand car that's fucking 2 cars that have been made into one. I'd buy 2 weeks of timeshare off of him. He's a good talker. Very good talker.
Stan, Terry's got to run. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, just quickly. I understand where you're coming from, Stan, but this is what I don't think people seem to take into consideration and that is these big managers, if they come in, right, we would still be doing as slow in a transfer window as what we are now. Just because we've got Pep Guardiola coming in or Carlo Ancelotti or any of these big managers, right? At Arsenal, we've done this for years. Does not matter what manager comes in. So will a manager, like as big as what you want, come in and say, right, well, this is going to take me 3-4 years as a project because I can only go out and get 3-4 big players in that season? Or do you believe then, just because of their name and who they are, that they'll come in and Arsenal will go, right, we've got a great manager here. We're going to give them 200-300 million each season to go and spend.
No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that I think that there are more experienced managers, and I'm not talking about big names. I mentioned David Moyes and Alan Pardew. These aren't managers that I want by a long chalk, but I'm saying that I actually believe that they would be able to have got us higher than 8th in the table. I don't know where we would have finished, but I do believe that other managers, with the players that we had at our disposal, we could have finished higher than 8th. And as Bearded Gooner often has reminded us, how many points were we off of Europe? You said that we were behind?
6.
There you go. 6. That's 2 matches.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the players that cost us that, we renewed his contract. Look at the mistake. But Xhaka cost us last season, right? What was that?
Xhaka, listen, you know as well as anyone, Stan, I don't want Xhaka here, right? I do not want Xhaka here, right? But the thing is, I'm glad that Arsenal are acting like a big club now. They're acting like a big club, right? And they've turned around to Roma and Maureen and said, well, look, if you want him, pay up the money. This is what all Arteta out people were saying last year when we were trying to get Partey. Why are we worrying, underbidding for 5 million? Just pay what the release clause is and pay it.
That's been stubborn. There's a bigger picture here. You can't be stubborn over one player. There's a bigger picture. You said yourself that you're not a Xhaka fan, but I honestly believe that had we had sold him, right, we wanted 20 million. Let's say they were offering 16 or 17. Just do the deal. But Arsenal didn't.
They was offering 12 if you listen to the.
Okay, 12 then. I would have still taken it.
They're offering 12, right? They're offering 12, but apparently they're putting in 35, 40 million for Tammy Abraham.
But nobody else is putting any bids in for Xhaka, right? So we're talking about protecting his value. If we sell him now, and as I said earlier on, the reason that we're in this mess is that we've given our players higher contracts, and players don't want to pay their wages, right? So we can't sell him now. So what have we done? We've just given him higher wages yet again. No one's going to buy this guy. His value is going to depreciate between now and when his new contract is finished. It's a shit.
It may be due because obviously I don't like him and I understand where you're coming from, that stand. But let's be honest, a lot of people would say at the moment he's an international captain at Switzerland and he's coming off of a great Euros. A lot of people would say I don't agree with that. I think he had a good Euros, but a lot of people would say he had a great Euros, right? Yeah. Let's just say, for instance, that this season he does put in half of a good performance and has a good season. Then his value from 12 million, what Roma wanted to put in, would probably go up by 20 million.
Why couldn't we have increased his contract or given him an extension once the window had closed? He's got 2 years left. There's no rush.
All we've done is giving him a one year contract more.
But why do it now, though? What I'm saying is, someone else might come in with a bid, right? So we've now just taken him off the window, and we want to rebuild. And I just honestly believe that we are never going to be able to move forward while we still have players that are here from the Wenger era, because everything else has changed. The management's changed a number of times. The board has changed. But the only constant that is still there is that there are a handful of players that are still here from Wenger. And until they've gone, this rebuild's never going to start. That's Lacazette, Aubameyang, Holding, Chambers, Bellerin, fucking Xhaka, Kolasinac. They all need to go because everything else has changed.
Yeah.
But the way that we still act as a club, the way that our performances haven't, they have to go.
I agree with most of what you just said with the players, Stan. Listen, guys, I really need to shoot off, but I just want to say
thank you. Terry.
Thank you very much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it and love to come on again next time.
Yep. You're welcome anytime, Terry. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
All right. So that was Terry from Claude Advanced. It's good to have him on. We definitely ran long tonight. I'm going to ask you for a final thought, but please keep it concise. And I'm actually going to give you your final thought. You're just going to answer the question. Where do Arsenal finish? Ryan, I'll start with you.
Somewhere between 6 and 8. It depends on who we sign, but the transfer window. But I think we're gonna be right there, right where we were last season.
Stan?
I think we may qualify for this new Europa Conference thingy. We're not going to get into the Champions League or the Europa League. We may be lucky to get in this new lower Europa thing.
Rohan?
We may be able to finish sixth. I think sixth is where we could finish, because we could probably pip Spurs, who've got a new manager. They might lose Harry Kane. So for me, top 4 is pretty much sealed this time. In no particular order, it's going to be City, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Leicester 5th, and then maybe us, but we've got tight competition. Now our competition is basically Spurs, it's Aston Villa, it's West Ham, those guys. Now that's what we're dealing with.
Fair enough. Good stuff, guys. Really appreciate all of you coming on. Glenn, obviously, for being here. Terry, as well, for jumping in late. That is it for us. Off tomorrow. We are back on Thursday with some more shows. So if you haven't subscribed to Bearded Gooner Media, please do that right now. Would greatly appreciate that. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before kickoff on Friday. I am going to wrap it up with that. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Stan, you want to shout out the chat real quick?
Also, as well, tell them about that Gooners podcast 24-hour thing that they're doing. You know about that, right?
Yes. Yep. Sure do. Definitely go check Mikey and the guys out over at the Gooners Pod. They're going to be doing 24 hours starting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I believe that is 7 p.m. Across the pond. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Lots of great guests, all to benefit Gooners versus Cancer. So that'll be great to watch as well and take part in that. So thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. It's been good footy talk. We will see you out there.